Yeah, I don't know. I think one burger is better.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, July 26, 2018. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1054.
This is No Agenda.
Hiding all my attorney-client privilege tapes and broadcasting live from the capital of the Drone Star State here in downtown Austin, Tejas, in the Cludio in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where giant, large trucks are picking up debris from the dystopia as we speak. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Did you back away from the microphone? What did you just do there? That was really odd.
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Yeah, you did too much.
Oh,
you were like, garbage. But it sounds the same as every opening. Don't worry about it. don't obsess. I'm just saying.
Well, I wasn't obsessing. I didn't even pay attention to it.
You backed off. You backed off too far, man. Backed off too far. So I'm a little worried.
But the dystopia?
Yeah, that. And all these fires everywhere. Now Yosemite is burning down.
Yeah.
And people in the Netherlands are contacting me. They're pissed that we hit Belgium with the rain, but missed them.
We hit a number. Well, I actually have a rain report. Might as well play it.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Rain report. A rain stick report, it seems.
Neighborhoods from the Carolinas to New England. In Pennsylvania, the floods are being called historic. Some have had to escape flooded homes and cars by boat. Parts of the state have gotten more than a foot of rain since the downpour started on Saturday. In the capital, Harrisburg, it is the wettest July ever. The surrounding county has been soaked with 78 billion gallons of water.
Now let's listen to the report from the EU's.
As Europe goes through a heat wave, scientists say this extreme weather in the Northern Hemisphere may soon be normal. Great Britain's looking rather parched and dry at the moment as temperatures soar in cities such as Berlin, as droughts everywhere will cause a shortage of crops. You can see here that surface air temperatures have been increasing on a regular basis globally since 1979. On a monthly global average since 1989, you can see surface air temperatures increasing each month every year.
This graph is really great that they're showing. The graph shows temperatures rising from January up to its peak in July and August. It's crazy how that works.
What we do expect, of course, is with climate change for these kind of heat wave events to become, to be something that we'll see more often. With droughts and fires, it's a little bit more complex because there you also have the rainfall playing into the picture. And with rainfall, if we look at Europe, for instance, there's not necessarily a clear trend if rainfall is increasing or decreasing.
As we try and cool off by staying hydrated, scientists also say the heat waves in the Northern Hemisphere are undoubtedly linked to global warming.
Woo! There it is.
Undoubtedly. Indubitably.
Yeah, I have half a mind to think we should just shake the shit out of these rain sticks and just give everybody one big blast of rain just to shut them all down.
Yeah, let's go with my report from CBS's American report on the UK heat wave.
Oh, we both had the same ideas.
A heat wave in the UK might get worse before it gets better, with temperatures expected to soar past 100 degrees Friday. Danny Savage from our broadcast partners at the BBC News has more on what to expect in the coming days.
The heat is rising again. The land is cracking up, and trains are running slow in places over concerns about rails expanding and buckling. But rain is expected, deluges which could see us swing to another extreme of British weather.
It's not going to be that useful rain that many people want. It could run off very quickly and create local flooding. So downpours causing localised flooding, and that could cause some serious problems.
Gin and tonic, sangria.
That wasn't really what was on offer at the Bupa Southlands care home in Harrogate this morning, but the serious point was about keeping the elderly hydrated in this heat wave.
If we don't drink enough, which old people don't want to drink, it can then cause infections, which can then cause hospital admissions.
So the advice for hot weather is not nanny state?
Well, no, because some old people just won't do it, and especially if you're living on your own, you won't think to get up and get that drink.
Yeah, they're scaring old people all over the EU.
By the way, if you heard the report, if you listen carefully, they're making him drink sangria.
Do you like beer or sangria? Sangria.
I mean, which is it's kind of like, it's not really the same as water. Now, a couple of things I picked up on. I was listening to Sky News. I couldn't get anything I screwed up on the recording, so I didn't get any clips. But they're going nuts over this possibility that today it's going to get to be 100. I mean, maybe they should look into what goes on. And they said, and all these old people are going to suffer so much because it's going to be 100 degrees. And I'm thinking, have you ever been to Arizona?
Well,
Arizona's all old people.
My buddy called me yesterday. It's like, it's 100 degrees here. I'm like, yeah, it's 100. It's 101 here. I'm on the balcony drinking sangria, and everything's good. Oh, look, there's an old homeless guy. He's alive. He's on the street eating out of the garbage can. Yum.
Yeah, in Texas, it's 100 all the time.
Yeah, in the summer.
But it gets to be 120 in Phoenix, and it's 100 around here. Not where I am because I'm on the coast, but it's like go inland. I could drive within 15 minutes. I can be in temperatures of 100 degrees.
Is this?
And they're making it seem like it's outrageous.
Is this your way of saying no? We're not going to do a massive range stick shake? Because it's just overblown and people don't need it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we won't. I'm not sure how I missed this thing being such a huge happening and an event. Did you see any of this Ozzy Fest?
No, I don't. I'm not trying to think if I even heard of it. No, maybe not.
Well, so I don't even know where it was held, Ozzy Fest, but it was basically a whole bunch of social justice
Ozzy
warriors.
The Bear? Is that what we're talking about? Ozzy the Bear?
It's worse. No, it's OZY. That's that outfit that I hate. But OZY.com. Their business model is they say, hey, we'd love to interview you. And like, okay. And you look at their interviews and like, wow, this in-depth stuff is pretty good. And you do the interview and then like, well, so whenever there's a reason for us to put it up, we will. Whoa. What do you mean? No, we just have everything on file. I guess if it turns out I've fathered an illegitimate child, then they have a sort of backstory on me that they can sell to everybody. I hate those guys. It's a horrible business model. The whole idea behind PR is you're supposed to do something with it. But now this Ozzy Fest is a bunch of women on stage talking about social justice stuff. And I have two quick clips just of some interesting women who appeared. Well, I don't know if the first one is interesting. This is Gillibrand. And she is doing what we call playing to the audience, knowing fully well what the audience was stacked with.
So when we flip the House and flip the Senate, I think the first thing we should do is deal with the children who are being separated from their families.
I love the optimism. When we flip the House, when we flip the Senate. Mm-hmm.
So when we flip the House and flip the Senate, I think the first thing we should do is deal with the children who are being separated from their families at the border. We should, I think we should get rid of ICE. We should separate out the two missions and do the anti-terrorism mission, the national security mission, and then on the other side, make sure you're doing, looking at immigration as a humanitarian issue. These are civil issues. These are families. Look at it as the economic engine that it is, that immigration is our strength. It is our diversity is what makes this country and our economy so strong. So re-looking at that issue, I think we should pass the gun reform issues within the first month, all of them, universal background checks, anti-trafficking, making sure people can't buy bump stocks, large magazine clips, all that work. I'll do all that.
No, she's going to do all that.
Well, how come she hasn't done any of it yet?
No, she's going to do all that when they take back the House and the Senate. She's not ready for it.
No. Flip.
I'm sorry. Flip. Yes. Now, the most interesting woman was not Hillary Clinton, who was on stage, although Hillary's outfit was fantastic. I'm sure you've seen the Moo photo.
No.
Oh, my good. Just Bing Hillary Moo. And I think you can spell it M-U-M-U or M-U-U. M-U-U. Either way, it'll show up. She showed up in this dress that truly looked like a muumuu with a pantsuit underneath and some kind of
muumuu and a pantsuit.
Yes, because it had legs. The muumuu had legs and these orthopedic shoes, which to me says she has serious heart issues. Her ankles are probably swelling up. Maybe she's just decomposing. I don't know. But it looks really bad. Did you see it? Have you found it?
No, I'm sorry.
You're sorry you missed it, aren't you?
I'm getting there.
This was the talk of the Twitters.
I didn't have a browser open, and I got to deal with it.
No, you mean you have to deal with Chrome sending all your information to Google first?
Yeah, it's almost done.
That's what Chrome does that. Like, everything you've just done, let me upload that and make sure the home HQ has it. Well, anyway.
Okay, I got her sitting. I don't have this. Not
Ozzy Fest. Do Ozzy Fest. OZY Fest.
Okay, Ozzy Fest.
You see
OZY, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's kind of...
What was Hillary wearing?
Yeah, there you go.
What the heck was Hillary wearing? Is this her sitting?
Yeah.
With this
tent.
She looks like, to me, looking at this picture, it looks like she's wearing a hospital gown.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's to hide the decomposition. It's horrible.
Great Photoshop numbers. There's the picture somebody did with her wearing this outfit on a train track with a big locomotive coming up on her.
Oh, God. All right, newsletter. Newsletter stuff. But more interesting to me was, and as far as I know, this is at least first I've noticed, the coming out of Laurene Powell Jobs. Have you ever heard her speak?
Curiously, no.
Yeah, neither had I. And she's now showing up everywhere as the big philanthropist.
Well, you know what I think has been going on? First of all, she inherited so much money. She's one of the world's richest women overnight.
And she also runs Disney pretty much.
And she's got a lot to do with Disney, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons what's his name decided never to come back. Lasseter, who quit for good, which is a huge blow to the company.
I don't know anything about that.
John Lasseter is the guy that was running Pixar and did all the Toy Story. He was the creative genius behind everything that came out of Pixar. It was his doing. And he's the one who's called the shots on the way the story should go and how it should end and everything in between. He's the guy who was he was hugging too many people. He was a hugger.
Oh, is that why you had to go?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do remember this.
Unwanted hugging.
Unwanted hugging, yes. Yeah,
so he hugged one too many people, and that was the end of him. And I think she's got to have something to do with it. But I believe that she got into, she just started. What happens is she hangs out.
Does this story end with she killed Steve Jobs? Is that how the story ends?
I'm trying to think of a comeback to that, but I can't.
Okay.
I believe she's hanging out with the wrong people. They're the kind of people that are, come on, you should come out. You should, these kind of harpies, these left-wing harpies that have been encouraging her to make herself more, visible, so they can take advantage of all her money. They just want to steal her money.
Yeah, she's got this beautiful black boyfriend, and she's going to all the galas with. Now, he could just be a date, but I think she's going out with him. I don't know who it is, but just some pictures here and there. Young guy.
Huh.
Yeah. So she's on stage with Hillary. Now, one more thing about Hillary. There was also, if you look around, you don't have to do it now. It looks like she had a life call alert around her neck.
Yeah, everybody's commenting on it. The arrows pointing at her neck. I'm looking at the photos.
It makes no sense to me because you have to have the base unit nearby knowing how those things work.
Well, not only that, she's got armed guards around her all the time. I mean, what does she need to push a button for?
Yeah. But what was it? What was that little satchel?
Maybe it was something that gives her heart a 120-volt jolt, get her going again. She gets a little woozy.
Okay, we're good. So we hear... Is it Laurene? Is that how you pronounce her name? Laurene Powell Jobs?
I think it's Laurene. Yeah. I'm not sure.
So we'll hear her speak, and sadly, she'll speak total crap.
Well, since you brought it up, let's talk a little bit about how immigration has become an ugly word and a demonized sector. And the most ugly part of it has just been made visible with family separation, where young toddlers and children have been torn from their parents, and many of these parents have already been deported, and the children were kept in cages, and the parents were kept generally hundreds, if not thousands of miles from them. And even now, the reunification of the parents with their children is very complicated and not happening swiftly. And there are two faith organizations, the Lutheran Services and the U.S. Council on Bishops, who've been tasked with reuniting children with their families and without any funding, by the way.
Laureen, what? She just mentioned the two prominent refugee services, namely the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and the Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, who in 2016, I couldn't get the 2017 numbers yet, it got $55 million in government grants to reintegrate immigrants into society.
Hey, if you're worth $50 billion, that means you're not funded.
That's nothing.
Yeah, she's just elite.
Okay. Yeah, I could have figured that one out. Well, yes. I mean, seriously, what is she doing if she doesn't even know these basic truths? And I know what Hillary's doing. She's sucking up to her for the money.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It was very apparent.
Like, Hillary's like the salt-sucking monster in the Star Trek first series.
Yes. Only the salt ain't salt, baby. It be moolah. So I found that really disheartening. I thought, no, maybe we have a new person on the scene. Maybe she'll be great. No. Not. And just briefly, while we're on the immigrants, we had this, I think I played the report on Sunday's show about the white helmets being evacuated. And there was something that was bugging me after the show. I was like, or when I listened to when I air checked the show and I heard the clip pass again, I'm like, holy shit, something I think we missed. This is a redux of that clip, just the first part.
For years, the white helmets have saved thousands of lives in Syria, but now even they've had to flee. After a request from the United States and some European countries, Israel evacuated them and their families to Jordan, saying there'd been an immediate threat to their lives. Israel's military stressed its non-intervention policy in Syria. According to Jordan's foreign ministry, they'll spend 3 months in the country and then be settled in Britain, Germany and Canada.
It was the last bit that bugged me. Knowing what the white helmets are, they're not volunteers. We've seen photos of every member of the white helmets in complete terrorist garb with guns, and then all of a sudden they're posing on Instagram pretending to save people. Same kids show up in multiple rescues. I mean, it's really a shoddy organization. They were trained in Jordan, evacuated to Jordan by Israel. It seems like the deal was perfect. With Israel gets Syria's oil. Israel keeps Iran out of Syria. Russia keeps its ports and Assad. Everybody's kind of happy. But they're sending these known terrorists to Germany, England. Where else were they sending them to?
US of A.
Did they say that? No, I don't think they said that. Let me see.
Intervention policy in Syria. According to Jordan's foreign ministry, they'll spend 3 months in the country and then be settled in Britain, Germany and Canada.
Britain, Germany and Canada.
Canada. Well, close enough.
So isn't that like almost a Gladio operation where you're sending the terrorists into the countries?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why are they accepting them?
By the way, another thing that comes up in that clip, just why? Because this whole thing is some sort of a scam. We're unaware of how it works. But they said that Israel is non-interventionist or some bullcrap about in Syria.
Yeah.
But why are they the guys taking them out? And they're not even the next door neighbor country.
Because they were involved with the whole...
Yeah, they were involved. That's the point.
Yeah, of course they were. And I think the U.S.
was... put those guys in there, you take them out.
That was the call, huh?
That had to be it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was just disturbing. Like, really? They're sending those guys to Europe? That doesn't sound like a good idea. just doesn't.
They'll probably be commentators on CNN.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, unless they have top secret clearance, which now is not happening.
Mossad.
Yeah. I found that whole thing rather interesting. Yeah, taking away security clearances from our our former pencil pushers in the intelligence community. Everybody's all up in arms about that.
Well, it was Rand Paul who first suggested it. Nobody mentions that, do they?
No, he's been marginalized. He's just on the fringes. I don't think, he did that one interview with Brolf, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
It's like,
he's not playing ball.
We can't have that guy on anymore.
He's apparently too much like his old man, just a whack job.
So Clapper is also going to lose his, apparently going to lose his top secret clearance.
He should have been jailed.
Well, yes. And
for perjury.
And, there was a clip circulating, doing the rounds, kind of titled as, Clapper admits Obama set off the Mueller investigation. Which, when you hear the whole thing in context, I'm not so sure, but I wanted to play it for you because it could be a case of the truth wants to come out and Clapper kind of slipped. I think it's a real borderline case. This is him on the phone with Anderson Cooper.
The 2017 assessment that the president says he now agrees with, that was done while you and then CIA Director John Brennan were still in office. So how can we reconcile the president attacking you, but apparently after a very long time, finally allegedly saying he allegedly agrees with the product of the intelligence community that you yourself oversaw?
Yeah, well, this is, as we've come to know the president, he's not a stalwart for consistency or coherence. So it's very hard to explain that. One point I'd like to make, Anderson, I don't think has come up very much before, and I'm alluding now to the president's criticism of President Obama for all that he did or didn't do before he left office with respect to the Russian meddling. If it weren't for President Obama, we might not have done the intelligence community assessment that we did that set off a whole sequence of events which are still unfolding today, notably Special Counsel Mueller's investigation. President Obama is responsible for that, and it was he who tasked us to do that intelligence community assessment in the first place. I think that's an important point when it comes to critiquing President Obama.
So what I think former Director of National Intelligence Clapper is trying to say is, hey, we knew this was going on. Obama knew it, and he started this investigation, which is the Mueller investigation into meddling into our elections.
Well, no, I think it was pretty clear that he said that Obama got the ball rolling, which eventually, he didn't use that word, but that's what he was implying, eventually got the Mueller investigation off the ground.
Okay, so if that's the case, then, I mean, when that started, that's when they started the spies and the wiretaps, and they had the FISA warrant, right?
Yes.
Well, then how do you reconcile this clip of Clapper from 2017?
Let me start with the president's tweets yesterday. This idea that maybe President Obama ordered an illegal wiretap of his offices. If something like that happened, would this be something you would be aware of?
I would certainly hope so. I can say, obviously I can't speak officially anymore, but I will say that for the part of the national security apparatus that I oversaw as DNI, there was no such wiretap activity mounted against the president-elect at the time, or as a candidate, or against his campaign. I can't speak for other Title III authorized entities in the government or a state or local entity.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if the FBI, for instance, had a FISA court order of some sort for a surveillance, would that be information you would know or not know?
Yes.
You would be told this.
I would know that.
If there was a FISA court order on something like this.
Something like this, absolutely.
And at this point, you can't confirm or deny whether that exists?
I can deny it.
There is no FISA court order?
Not to my knowledge.
Of anything at Trump Tower?
No.
Okay. Either he was there and Obama got it all set in motion and they had everything wound up and he knew about it because he said he knew about it.
We know that in the past, if he thinks he can get away with it, he just lies outright.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take that then.
Because he's done it before, so he'll do it again. I mean, he points the finger at Trump, saying Trump's a liar and you can't tell what he's talking about. That Clapper is one of those, you are what I am what I say you are.
Yes, there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, lots.
Yes. All right. Well,
so I'm not because that something did happen because the head of the NSA, Rogers, went over and talked to the Trump people and told them that this was going on. That's where the whole rumor started because he knew it was going on, and he thought that there was a coup underway. So Rogers goes in to the White House and says, "Hey, you guys are," or to the Trump campaign, or at some point in the timeline, and says, "Hey, this has been going on. You should be aware of it, and I'm out of here."
Right. Well, we know nothing, basically.
Intrigue. All we do is, it's all speculation on our part. Otherwise, we'd be on the hit list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. I do have a funny thing, though. I have a funny clip from another guy's kind of been marginalized, like Rand Paul's, like Ray McGovern, the ex-CIA guy.
Now, remind me who this is again?
Ray McGovern is the old fart ex-CIA guy with the beard and goatee.
Oh, yes. I know who he is, sure.
He's always bitching and moaning about and he's laughing. He thinks this is hilarious how screwed up these guys are and how they're...
And he talks a lot for a former CIA guy. He divulges a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is always concerning.
I'm actually trying to get an interview with him.
Oh.
With the show. I'm not going to get anywhere. But I'm going to
Not
try.
with that attitude. Change your words, change your world, Mr. Dvorak. Come on, if you want to flip the House and the Senate, then you got to talk that way.
I'm going to ask him specifically that because I feel the same way. So here he is. But here's where he ends up. That's why he probably should do an interview to No Agenda shows because he what kind of a show is he being interviewed on? Local New York station, the Joe Piscopo Show.
Fantastic.
It's a business, but what's your response to, before we let you go, Ray, to the criticism from people like John Brennan and James Clapper?
They're running scared, Joe. There's documentary evidence that they played fast and loose with the law in trying to make sure that Trump didn't win, and then after he won, trying to sully him and impeach him. It's the Intelligence Committee on the House, which is the only one that's a real oversight committee, has the documents. They've gotten through with Peter Strzok and other middle-level or senior-level peoples in the FBI. Strzok and others are finally going to realize that they've been had. They're taking the rap for James Clapper and John Brennan.
Wow.
And John Brennan is running scared. Look what he's... He's treasonous activity.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have any editor, any break on him anymore. So that's where you're getting that.
And Ray, what about $400 million? Vladimir Putin says at the press conference yesterday, and we got to go, but $400 million went to the Hillary campaign, and most of that was illegal money. Why is no one talking about that this morning, sir?
Well, it's even worse than that, Joe. You know, they talk about these 33,000 emails that Hillary destroyed.
Yes.
You know what? They're available. The National Security Agency collects everything that goes over the net, over the Internet.
Wow.
And so, now, maybe no one's told Trump that, but for God's sake, all he has to do is say, I don't have to ask Russia for God's sake.
It's somewhere in the intel in the United States.
They scoop up everything and have the content. So, there's an aura of unreality to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Trump knows enough to be suspicious, but he doesn't know the whole deal because they won't tell him.
Wow, I am really high.
Sounded just like him. He also, McGovern sounds a bit like Pachenik in his mannerisms, how he speaks.
The milieu.
Yeah, totally. And for those who don't remember, probably too young, Joe Piscopo was a key player in the late 80s?
Yeah, Saturday Night Live shows.
Yeah, on Saturday Night Live.
One of the great mimics probably I've ever seen in my life. He could do
Sinatra.
He could do him and look like him.
Yeah.
Sinatra was, he'd get made up, and it was outrageous. He did Sinatra. He did a lot of people. Did Jerry Lewis. He did.
People who don't matter anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know if Piscopo ever modernized his act. That's probably one of the reasons.
What station is he on now?
Some crazy WGNY or something I never heard of.
With 10,000 watts in New Jersey. Medium wave.
is a 6 to 10 drive time.
Is it WOR? Maybe it's WOR.
I don't think it's station. WOR. No, just put some Joe Piscopo radio, and you'll get
you Bing it yourself. I'm gonna Bing stuff for you.
But he also got into muscle building, and he got so preoccupied with it. I think he lost his comedy.
Yeah, he did get into that, didn't he?
Oh, he was so beefed, it was outrageous.
Yeah, I think he was juicing.
But I think he was also, juicing. To get that big.
He was juicing. He was juicing.
And I think that hurts your sense. Hurts your
your sense of humor.
Your sense of humor is lost.
Well, look at my body. You know I'm not juicing. That's why I'm so funny.
You're hilarious too.
Yeah. Woohoo! Exactly. Big fun little get together in the White House as Juncker the Drunker showed up to negotiate a trade deal for the EU with Trump.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those clips from Skype because this one guy was very cynical.
Well, he should be. This is a very typical European deal, and they usually brand it with the term memorandum of understanding or letter of intent. I've done a lot of deals in Europe, and they're full of shit.
Yeah,
this is no deal. The deal was basically, we're going to work on a deal so we don't have any tariffs on each other's goods except for cars and steel. We're going to leave that where it is right now. And if we don't get along, then all bets are off. So they really agreed on nothing.
Yeah, kind of.
And Juncker didn't look that drunker, but Trump was reaching out to hold his hand everywhere. The guy was still kind of wobbly.
Huh.
Yeah, at one point they're in the Rose Garden, and then they're done. They turn around, they walk back in, and Trump reaches out to grab his hand, and Juncker, they don't connect, and so he grabs his elbow. But he was clearly reaching out for. I mean, he reached out more for Juncker's hand than I've ever seen him reach for Melania's hand. Honestly, it's like
Melania keeps pulling back. He gave up on her,
rightfully so. Now.
I don't want to interrupt the flow of things here, even though we're just kind of changing topics.
Well, let's come back to the tariffs because I'm not done with that yet.
Well, but before we do that, so I can get this off the screen, I've got all these Hillary pictures.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of people that are pointing out a big lump under this giant dress she was wearing. Saying there's some sort of like a piece of gear. Maybe it's got like a heart pump or something about insulin pump or something pumping stuff into her.
Recycling bin.
I don't know what it is. It says Hillary's secret has been exposed to the world. Is widely recognized. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm sure she's hiding something about her health. Just look at her. It's obvious. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And that's her business. It's fine. I don't need to know.
All right, onward.
Yeah, back to the tariffs. The interesting report from the European Union, I think is from Euronews, that this effect has actually had, the implementation, or are these tariffs are in place, right? The steel tariffs. Not the car tariffs, but the steel tariffs.
I think so.
Yeah, I think the steel tariffs are in place. The car tariffs is just a threat, but here's the result of the steel tariffs.
The Port of Antwerp is one of the largest ports in Europe. Millions of tons of cargo transit here each year, and the first trading partner is by far the United States. Half of all EU steel exports to the U.S. are shipped from these docks. The decision made in June by Donald Trump to impose a 25% tariff on steel imports had a lot of people worried here. But according to Wim Dillon, a port manager, these tariffs have had so far unexpected consequences.
Quite surprisingly, perhaps, we have exported more steel than in the first 6 months of this year than we did in the first 6 months of last year. But I think that has to do a lot with companies anticipating on what was going to come and filling their stocks in the US. But if this would last for a long time, then I think it will become very negative indeed.
So it had the opposite effect as expected?
Yeah, maybe. these things aren't supposed to be permanent. It's supposed to be a negotiating tool.
For sure, it is.
Which way? That's why he's doing that. He's doing this deal with, the farmers are getting irked about the whole thing because nobody's buying soybeans. So he's gonna just throw money at that.
Yeah, you got the soybeans. I think that may actually be a real deal. I think they did agree on soybeans. And what's the big deal with soybeans? They're not good for you. Are they? No, we've talked about this a lot. Soybeans, they shrink your brain and make your boobs grow.
They are used to make soy sauce.
Yeah. Yes.
And they're used to make soy oil here and abroad.
Yeah, but what is soy used for? Everything? Is just soy in everything?
It could be used as cattle feed.
But what? That sounds about right. But what exactly is its use in processed foods?
It's used in. It's like in cornflakes. You might find some soy meal. I mean, it's used on everything. It's extremely. It's elemental. It's so important.
I try to avoid it.
Yeah, you should. It's if you don't get for soybean, for example, is not cooked. You ever go to a sushi bar?
I've been, yes.
You ever eat any edamame?
I have.
That's soy. What do you think those are?
Beans?
Yeah.
They're not green beans?
No, it's
They're
edamame.
Soy. I'm eating soy?
Yeah, that's how much you're avoiding it.
I had no idea.
Well, look it up.
Edamame is a soy. Sure. Oh, okay. Right. Yep. Well, it goes into all kinds of products, and I guess we're now the big
preparation of immature soybeans. It has to be cooked a lot. If it's not cooked, you'll be farting for the rest of your life. That's how toxic soy is.
Film at 11. I love the troll room. They're freaking out that I don't know anything about soy. Yeah, I do. Avoid. Let's avoid.
Meanwhile, he's been eating edamame the whole time. I hate this soy. But these edamames are good, though.
Oh, no. I'm a moron. I'd readily admit. Okay. No, I'm just ixnay on the edamame then. Meanwhile, over on RT, there was an interesting analysis of the tariffs from this guy, Max Igan, or Igan, I-G-A-N. I'm not very familiar with him. It seems like a dude from Australia with a big mouth. But he had an interesting take, which was kind of no agenda-ish, which I wanted to share.
What do you make of this trade war, as many say?
Again, this is RT, Russia Today.
They were already in the midst of.
Look, this is a predictable move. Lurking in the background of this is China's One Belt, One Road policy, this new trade initiative that is coming online. Now, when you look at Trump's policies of making America great again, this is all theatre for the masses. Governments all work together. It's a business operation. This whole thing is a business operation. It's the same with Trump's dealings in Russia. People aren't looking at that correctly. They're not really looking at it. He's not dealing with Putin. He's dealing with the 5 corporations that actually control Russia. Trump's a businessman. With this whole deal that's coming online, how do you remove America as its position as the global reserve currency? You can't do it through war. You have to do it through marginalising the people. How do you do that? People are very gung-ho. We're American. We're proud. So make America great again. It's a policy of isolationism to isolate America from Europe and to give Europe the excuse it needs to pull away from America and to embrace the Chinese One Belt, One Road initiative, which incidentally does not include America. It's all theatre for the masses. Like I said, it's one big corporate entity. Doesn't matter what country you go to. No one wants to invade you. It's the governments facing off against each other. If the governments weren't there, we wouldn't have any problem. It's the same in every country.
Well, I don't know about that. And I generally subscribe to the idea that, the governments are corporations and the corporations are in one big global game. I'm in on that. But I hadn't considered that this might be a way to move Europe towards China. Whether that's from the U.S. side pushing them or from the EU side, moving, just happy, magnetic to go that way. And he pronounced it wrong, of course. It's 3 belts, no road.
Yes, we've come to that conclusion by doing a study.
Yes,
by studying it.
I thought that was interesting. I don't know if there's any truth to it.
Well, I don't think China's really. I think China just wants to, embrace the whole everything it can, so it can have some, create enough factories and processes and manufacturing capabilities so it can hire all those people and give them something to do. I don't know. I don't believe it personally. I think it's just they got some ideas, and they may or may not work out. I know the Europeans in some countries like Spain, for example, they're kind of annoyed by the fact that all the Spanish goods and the stuff they used to do and make there, the pottery and the kitchenware and everything is all made in China now. If you go to the flea market in Madrid on Sunday, everything's made in China. The scarves, or everything. It's everything. It's unbelievable. Right. We've given up.
Well,
we can't compete.
Not yet.
Robots are our friends. They'll help.
Yeah.
Then we're stuck with the homeless problem.
Oh man, Austin's about to. Yeah, every year they do a bond in Austin, which is or they try to put a bond together. It's failed every year I've lived here. $900 million. They want to build light rail in Austin. Then they say we're going to do a gondola system. And they wanted the courthouse.
Well, the gondola, they have one of those in Portland.
Oh, well, that's probably where they got the idea. And they now have earmarked $30 million to help the homeless problem in Austin by expanding the current services that are already not working. It's unbelievable. And we did get the tally, though. In last year, 2017, 7,640 people experiencing homelessness in Austin, which is a lot.
That's a lot. We have, I don't know if we even have that many in San Francisco. And we are spending $280 million, and they want to double it.
Oh, that's just for cleaning up the poop.
Yeah, well, poop.
Yeah. So, it's like, and no new ideas, zero. And you look at what we have in Austin, we have the Arches, which is an acronym for something. They have 120 beds for men only. Then you have the Salvation Army has 60 beds for women and children. That's it. With a homeless population of more than 7,500 people. They're stupid here.
Well, it's not going to get any better.
No. Everyone's busing their homeless to Austin, just like San Francisco. San Francisco 2.0.
Well, now they've got some new buses they're going to have running up and down the coast where you can get a quick bus ride to L.A. for $15 or something.
To where? To L.A.?
From San Francisco.
Wow. That's very cheap.
Well, yeah, you know what that's going to be? It's going to be a bus full of homeless.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you want to go to L.A.? Okay. Okay. Here's the ticket.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy's been sitting out in front of the dry cleaners for a couple of days now. What are we going to do about this guy? He won't leave. I got an idea. Let's get him a ticket, send him to Malibu. He'll love it down there.
Did I tell you about the homeless guy who came into the lobby of the building here?
No.
Like, I want to use the bathroom. And this was when Freddie was still downstairs. Freddie's gone. Not too bad. Freddie was super flamboyant, black, gay guy. With the handkerchief in his in his breast pocket.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Total, yeah, not quite like Titus, but there's some similar characteristics. And he said, what was I going to do? I said, no, this is a private building. The guy said, oh, well, then why don't I just pee right in front of your door? Would you like me to do that? That's the level we've gotten to here.
Yeah. There. Welcome to the new world.
Woohoo! Speaking of new world for Facebag this morning. That was fun watching that yesterday.
I missed it, whatever it was.
Oh, their earnings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was, you mean you're talking about the collapse at the stock? That was fun?
That was fantastic. Yes, it's fun. Of course it is. Schadenfreude to the max. That was fantastic. I love listening to these conference calls, which always start off with "Good quarter, guys. Hey, great Q. Yeah, really strong, fantastic. Hey, let me ask you a question." We've all heard if you haven't, you should listen to one of these analyst calls, and you can definitely hear the Facebag call, where they start off, everything's great, solid quarter, our revenue is fantastic, and then came all the shit. And to me, the most important thing, basically they gave out guidance, so the stock dropped 10%. people were like, something's wrong here because the overall users had gone down, the overall revenue per user, there was these slowdowns, and so it dropped 10%. And then the CFO talks. He's like, well, we expect slowdown in growth to high single digits. Can you imagine? He's like, yeah, our growth is going to slow by maybe up to 10%. And, it's going to affect revenue. And June, the stock just crashed down. Was it
tanked?
24% down?
It was pretty bad.
I don't know what's doing. It's been kind of limbering today.
Well, it's been going up very nicely over the last few months.
It had been,
I know it because one of our game stocks that we play on the DH Unplugged show.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been going up well. And then those days are over, so it gets kicked off. It's going to be kicked off the list because of the downturn. But
I think the biggest problem they have because they would just, first of all, I think they were speaking like the shit don't stink. Like, oh, we can do whatever we want. We're Facebook. It won't hurt us. But this one line, this is from the transcript, and this is from the CFO David Werner. We plan to grow and promote certain engaging experiences like stories that have currently had lower levels of monetization. And we are also giving people who use our services more choices around data privacy, which may have an impact on our revenue growth. There they are saying in black and white, because of our model, which is taking people's information, when people want that information not to be taken and they say, hold on, this, maybe not that, it affects their revenue. And but you never want to say that.
No, they should never even do it.
Well, that's how they're making so much money.
Yeah, what they should do, they get rattled because of the social justice warrior element within the company.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, "Hey, look, here's what we do. This is how we do it. If you don't like it, you don't have. You can find something else. There's there's a thing in Russia. You can go use that." But nobody's going to do that. People will just stay there. If you have privacy issues with us, just be more careful with what information you give us. That's the way I would handle it. Not a bunch of switches you turn on and off, which affects revenue.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah. No, they should just say, screw all that. Yeah, you're not going to get great privacy. Of course not. You're putting all your pictures up on the internet. What do you expect? How much privacy you want? This is the internet. Hello?
Yeah. Well, everything tanked along with that. Twitter, Snapchat, Spotify still going gangbusters, oddly. I'm not quite sure how that works. But I think this shows the kink in the cable, the dent in the armor.
Yeah.
Maybe this is. Well, it's a dent.
I had something I was going to talk about the stock market since you brought it up. I put it in the newsletter. What was it? Do you remember? I have to go and look at the newsletter.
Well, we were going to talk about the creepy porn lawyer calls.
I got that.
I can, if you want, I could look and see if I could find it. Something about the stock market? I don't know. Oh, yes. It was about Trump and the economy.
Oh, yeah. Trump and the economy. He.
Hey, it was your topic, so I figured you'd bring it.
No, it was. I thought it may have had a clip, but I don't know if I have a clip. But it had to do. I just thought I'd mention it because it was a Horowitz thesis.
Oh, okay.
And it was so interesting. I said, geez, this is really an interesting idea.
All right.
And what it is that because we're going to get some numbers, economic growth numbers tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. Big day.
Today is Thursday.
What kind of numbers? Like consumer confidence or manufacturing?
No, we're talking about the GDP.
Oh, okay.
So the GDP, it's been dragging along with Obama. It was 1%, 1.5% maybe, and then it got jacked up to maybe 2%.
You mean the growth?
Yeah, it has to do with growth. Gross domestic product.
Yeah.
It used to be GNP, gross national product. Why did they change it?
That was a European thing. I grew up learning GNP.
Yeah, when they changed it. Anyway, it's supposed to be jacked up like 4%. Something maybe even higher, and Trump's been touting it, and so has Kudlow. In fact, let's see if I don't know if I have anything. I don't have Kudlow saying it, but I do have a Kudlow clip, but we'll play it later afterwards. So the idea is this is Horowitz's thesis, is that the reason for all these tariffs and all the, we're going to do this and it's just going to kill everybody, it actually jacks up the economy because everybody manufactures as much as they can in advance of the tariffs. They stock as much inventory.
Oh, sure. Yeah, to get it all up, of course.
To get it all there and bring it in and import it and just get everything cranked up, in advance of the tariffs so you don't get burned too badly.
Right.
And this will continue for at least 2 quarters, which will give these fake numbers, take him through the 2018 elections.
Oh, nice one. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad Andrew came up with that, because I think there's another gambit that Trump is playing. And, I think you may like this. Again, this is all about the elections. Everything you hear, by the way, in the news today is all about the elections. At least
everything that we've talked about over the last 6 months has been about the elections.
Oh, and before. But 6 months for sure. And if it wasn't about a special election, which is what #MeToo helped and then kind of went away, as you predicted, that was after the special election of that jamoke down there who was signing yearbooks, sitting on laps, whatever the heck he was doing.
Hey, how you doing?
So I think Trump has another gambit. I'm going to give him a lot of credit with this by coming up with this thesis. Judge Napolitano was on, I don't know, what was he on? Well, some show. And he was talking about the Supreme Court pick, Brett Kavanaugh. And, there was, what was the other guy's name? He's in the same district as Trump's sister, who was a judge. I forget the guy's name, but it's in this clip.
It was Hardiman.
His
sister, very persuasive. Well, I sat with his sister. We were judges in New Jersey. I know her better than I know him. Judge Marianne Trump Barry, judge of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. She had persuaded him that it was Hardiman, and he touched all the bases. All the buttons that Donald Trump promised he would touch were touched with Hardiman. When he got to D.C. Sunday night, the establishment with which he has surrounded himself surrounded him and verbally browbeat him into changing his mind. I would like to have heard the conversation when he called his sister back and said, "Marianne, I've changed my mind." What? But the establishment, just like Ronald Reagan, eventually surrounded himself with Jim Baker and the establishment. President Trump has already begun to surround himself with the establishment and is beginning to show establishmentarian ways. And he wanted to satisfy the establishment, and they were satisfied with one of their boys, the quintessential member of the Washington, D.C. legal judicial establishment.
Okay. So Trump's sister said, you got to take this guy. He checks all the boxes. That's the guy. He's perfect for the job. And Trump then decides to go with Kavanaugh instead. Judge Napolitano interprets that as he got institutionalized. What was the word he used?
The word he should use is co-opted. Yeah. But I don't remember the word he used.
Okay. And then Napolitano went on to say something else about Kavanaugh that made me think, oh my gosh, no, this is a pick that is not intended to pass and will get torn apart in the Senate confirmation hearing about a very interesting topic.
Look, there's this other crazy thing I warned them about. That's the body of Vince Foster. I don't want to sound like Roger Stone, but he was the young prosecutor in charge of investigating what happened to Vince Foster. How did a guy who killed himself end up wrapped up in a rug in a public park? And he arguably suborned perjury by browbeating a witness out of giving testimony about seeing 2 thugs moving a rug in the park. This is documented. I'm not making this up. And I said to the president's people, you really want this to come out in the confirmation hearing? It will. It'll come out on the conservative attack on him, not on the left's attack on him.
Think about this for a moment. Can you imagine 2, maybe 3 months of Senate confirmation hearings all about how the Hillary assassination group killed Vince Foster?
I see where you're going.
This guy is not intended to get through.
Well, whether it's intended or not, to bring up all this stuff and make a big fuss about it is to kill the Democrats that are trying to get in 2018.
I mean, to me,
let's dredge up Vince Foster.
Yes.
And the Hillary hit list.
Yeah. I think that's if true, it's a beautiful gambit. And it flows right into messing up the midterms.
That combined with the economy should put them in a position where they can afford to take this chance because they won't flip the Senate.
Right.
And if they don't flip the Senate, they may actually pick up. The country's been fooled before by these Democrats who are overly optimistic about their great power and how much they're loved by everyone. But they keep making these elemental mistakes. They support migrants over Americans is a classic. I mean, I can see bumper stickers saying that. They're just overconfident. They don't have any, and they're clueless, and they don't care about the economy apparently. And they're all social justice warriors, and they're identity politics and everything. They have not changed anything that they've been banking on for the last decade, and it's been hurting them.
Yeah, who cares about that? I just want to hear. Who cares? I just want to hear more about the hit list. Who cares? This will be fantastic television.
Yeah,
everyone will be popping off and going nuts about it. Oh, this is going to be great. I had no idea that he would. And by the way, he was the prosecutor. Well, that guy should not be in the Supreme Court. I'm against him. That was a scam.
Sounds like it.
Oh. Wasn't too long ago. Maybe it was not a coincidence that resurfaced, and I was rereading that.
Well, if this crops up, it's either the guy's going to just glide through and get in, and this is never going to happen. Napolitano's full of crap, or it could get stalled away, which would add to the intrigue of the 2018 elections, and everything's about that.
It would be fun because you focus it all on Hillary.
And by the way, here's another one. Because they know that the Trump got in largely because the Republicans wanted a president that would be picking the Supreme Court guys. It's possible. I'm going to add one more layer to your theory.
Okay, now we're going for the trifecta.
He doesn't get in. They stop the nomination, and now you make a big fuss. Is that, oh my God, it's because these Democrats stopped the nomination. Most of the Republicans voted for him. We need more Republicans. You've got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote Republican. You got to get out and vote.
Boy, we
can't even get a Supreme Court nominee through because we only have 50 people or 51.
Vote. Yeah.
We need more. You got to vote Republican because we're never going to get anything accomplished. These Democrats are obstructionists, which the word has cropped up already. They've been using the word obstructionist, which of course was used against
the Republicans.
The party that says no was the old one against the Republicans.
Yeah.
But this could be a great game. Yeah. Well, we may be seeing a master politician at work.
Maybe.
Nobody wants to even think that's a possibility.
No, he's stupid. It's impossible. I got some great Rob Reiner clips from a podcast to play. But first, I want to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Call Alert, Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry.
This means you don't have the spreadsheet ready. I can tell. Yeah.
And in the morning to the ships at sea.
Yeah.
And the boots on the ground and the feet in the air and the subs in the water and the dames and the knights out there. And you do have some people to thank for the art and other things. You should probably do that first.
And I'll do it nice and slow. In the morning to the troll room at noagendastream.com. Helpful today. Good jokes. Good one-liners. Appreciate it. Good to have Doug here as well. If you've ever been to noagendastream.com, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's where you can witness all the action live on Thursdays and Sundays. And I also want to wish a hearty in the morning to Darren O'Neill. He is the artist who brought us the artwork, the album art for episode 1053. Title of that, Lefties Are Right. And this was actually, we had a long debate about which art to use because there were a number of good pieces. This was the car remote unlocking keychain with the red button that said assassinate on it, which was a callback to discussing in the show how your car can be completely taken over by law enforcement.
Yeah,
it was
they
good.
can kill you.
Yeah, it was a good piece, and we appreciate it, Darren. Thank you very much, and all of the artists who contribute by uploading.
Well, Darren did a lot of good pieces, because one of the things we have on the art generator is you can click on the artist's name and you can see all the stuff they've ever submitted.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of very good conceptual stuff. He's gotten picked maybe 5 times, but his stuff is always good.
Yeah, and so much happens with this art. There's just so many beautiful derivatives. You know, for my birthday, Tina's sister, I think she tweeted out actually, made a huge poster size print of me in the middle with the wired cover, where it's kind of that stylized drawing of me with a microphone, you know, the inventor of the podcast. But then around it, all no agenda art. It's really beautiful. You can do all kinds of cool things with it. That's noagendaartgenerator.com. And again, thank you to all the artists, and thank you, Darren O'Neill. And we'd like to thank a few people who have supported our program monetarily. We want to thank people with higher numbers up front, just like Hollywood. We call them our executive and associate executive producers, because they are. It's exactly what producers do. And John, you have the list.
You mentioned Twitter.
I did.
So I can't get on my account.
Oh.
My password was lost. I don't know what the password is, I guess. I thought I did. And so then they say, well, we can get, I lost password. Now everyone's so paranoid. This started with Microsoft. It's almost impossible to get your password back. So I said, well, you got to answer these questions. You got to do this. You got to do that. And they said, and what phone number? We have to send you a code to your phone number.
Yeah.
I said, what's your phone number? I gave all the phone numbers I have, and they rejected them all.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And so
I
said,
you know what? I know why. Because you have a lot of Google Voice numbers.
No, I only have one, and they rejected that right away.
Yeah.
But they rejected. I have real numbers, and I have a real cell phone. I have a real landline. They didn't like any of them. So I said.
Did they give a reason for not liking them?
They said we don't have it on record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gave them something else. Oh, jeez.
No, I don't. You know what? I don't remember ever. I've been on the account for so long. I don't remember them giving them a phone number. So I said, I haven't got this stuff. I clicked on it. I said, well, we'll look over this and get back to you in 2 or 3 days.
Oh.
So then I said, well, let me just send a note to the PR people. I had to track him down on LinkedIn. And they didn't respond. Nobody cares. It's unbelievable. This is the same as Google. The PR people, you don't know who runs the place, PR. Nobody cares. They just send it to press@info.such and such. Send it press@Google. I mean, they won't answer your questions. It's not like the olden days where the PR people were responsive. They're always looking to help the media.
You know what? They're probably pissed off. Did you hear the new rule in where's the new headquarters they just opened up?
I don't know where it is. I know that the main office is in San Francisco.
Yeah, no. San Francisco is also thinking of implementing this rule, but it's where SGI used to be.
Silicon Graphics?
Yeah, they were up in
Menlo Park?
No, maybe. No, I can't. It's somewhere in Northern California. I don't know where, but the city said, that's great. We love having you here, but you're not allowed to serve free food anymore in your cafeteria.
Oh, no, that's Facebook.
Oh, is it Facebook? I'm sorry. I thought it was Google.
Yeah, that's a big local story. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. To help the local businesses. I mean, that's absolutely what a great idea to help the community.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, if I was working in one of those companies and I was at that one office that doesn't have free food, I'd be a little disappointed.
Right, but they could just give you per diem. Here's money. Go.
And let me give you another thing. Well, yeah, that would be a good idea. In Mountain View, it's a little different. Mountain View.
Maybe it's Mountain View that I'm thinking of.
It might be Mountain View because Mountain View has a lot. It's on their main street. They have an unbelievable number of Chinese and Asian restaurants because I guess there's a huge population down there of Asians that are just great. You can eat well in Mountain View. So I can see why they'd be a little annoyed. Every one of these other cities, San Francisco's too expensive, and there's all these other places should have free food. As far as I'm concerned, if the food's any good.
Well, it's just another part of the rebellion against the uber lords of technology.
And what is somebody doing Cupertino at Apple? You're in that big giant satellite, the spaceship thing.
I think they have to pay for their food at Apple.
Yeah, you do have to pay for your food, but at least there's a restaurant in there because there's no restaurants outside the place.
Okay, it's a different scenario.
But anyways, beside the point. What I'm bitching about is Twitter not giving me my. And I'm a guy with a little Twitter bird there. You know, I'm like
you're verified,
certified.
Bro. You're
certified. They've said, hey, you're certified.
No, we know you're certified, but you're also verified.
Yeah, that too.
That's so a lot of good that does you.
Apparently none. I'm looking at my email now to see where my help is, and it's not here.
Okay, so what does that have to do with donations?
Well, you mentioned Twitter. I had to bitch about the fact that I can't do any of these things on Twitter now.
I didn't mention Twitter at all.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I don't think I did. You just out of the blue, you just started off with Twitter.
Yeah. Well, you did say something. Anyway, let's start with thanking some people. Our executive producers, starting with Glenn Morphus, $338.38. 33838. He has a note. He sent it in. I have it.
You have it?
Yeah, it's just mailed in note. I'm holding it in my hand.
Oh, okay. I was ready to go squirrel mail on you.
The gun.
Sorry, I'm so excited.
You'll be able to use that a lot.
Okay.
Gentleman. He's got a very interesting handwriting, I have to say, and it's all longhand. Or as I like to say, cursive. I appreciate the opportunity to join the illustrious group of it's very readable, of No Agenda show producers. As soon as you give producers credit on the podcast, it is going on my LinkedIn profile. And then he's got a bulleted list. 1, my sister, like Dame Tiffany, suffers from neuralgia, some sort of neuralgia. This surgery, she has some surgery that Dame Tiffany is undergoing is neither trivial nor 100% successful.
Okay, hold on. This refers to our dame who her husband was playing No Agenda best of clip shows with all the jingles and end of show mixes, and that really helped her come back to health.
Right.
So, yes, it's a brain aneurysm.
It says it's a neuralgia. Please give her karma for her surgery and recovery. Okay, we'll do that. Put that on the list.
Right here.
Okay.
You've got to do it right karma. Away. We want health karma to go out immediately.
Your discussion of John C.'s recent cataract surgery surprised me. It seems that neither of you had spent time under a general anesthetic. At your ages, you should have had one or more colostomies. No, not colostomy. Colostomy. Colonoscope.
Oh.
Whatever.
Yes. Colonoscopy. Yeah, an ass video.
Yeah. While the prep isn't fun, for 24 hours, I'll return to your high school playing. What? Well, the prep isn't fun. For 24 hours, you'll return to your high school playing weight. And as opposed to trigeminal surgery, colonoscopy. He's got an S on it. It's confusing me.
Yeah, that's colonoscopy.
Are highly effective at preventing colon cancer. Okay. 3, please give our family startup www.bigbrain.place. Is that a TDL?
Yeah, probably.
Some startup karma. We are burning cash like Congress. At Big Brain Place, you can buy everything you need to build a bigger brain.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. So they have games, they got puzzles.
Do you have any drugs?
Pure aromatherapy. Oh, they've got Big Brain sensory blankets. Let me see.
Thanks for the privilege of being a producer of the best podcast in the universe regard. Written in cursive with a fountain pen. Woo! Like God intended.
Nice. They also sell coffee because of its many health benefits. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I'll give you some karma for that right away.
You've got karma.
And by the way, once I heard Warren Buffett say that he refuses to have a colonoscopy because he says, everybody I know who has not had a colonoscopy is doing fine. Everyone who had one and they detected something is dead.
Jeez.
That's what Warren Buffett said.
Yeah.
You'd think the guy would know something. He's one of the top elites.
He is a top elite.
So,
Edward Gartland in Mendon, New York, 33334. Dear John and Adam, love the show. The donations for your amygdala protection when watching M5M and The View. This is my second donation. Last year, I requested karma for hiring my first employee, Brandon. It worked. Our business telling it worked. It worked. Our business selling refrigerant leak detectors is kicking butt. Brandon, however, is a long-term douchebag. Please apply something.
Half of this in his name and provide a thorough de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
NA tip for the new and confused listeners. Listen to show 984 to learn how the show evolved.
Oh.
It is the Rosetta Stone of No Agenda.
Oh.
Is that right?
I have no idea what was in 984. The Rosetta Stone, huh?
Maybe. Is it maybe one of the redos, the redux? Is this one of the overdos, the do again, the do-overs?
I'm going to look right now. 984.noagendanotes.com. Show X is what that was, John. Show X. That's one of our, I think that's, yes, it's one of our super reduxes.
Huh.
Yep.
I lived in Hilversum, Netherlands in the 90s and became fond of the Scheveningen beach.
Scheveningen beach.
I only mentioned that to hear you struggle with the pronunciation. He would like, I got ants and the train guy going nuts from the few episodes back.
You know, in the Second World War, to see if someone was a German spy, they would make, you know, someone who said, "Oh, I'm Dutch, I'm here," or whatever. The resistance would say, "Oh yeah, pronounce Scheveningen," because only a Dutch person or someone who's really lived in the Netherlands long enough, like me, can pronounce that. You want to give it a go?
Say it.
Scheveningen.
Scheveningen.
Nazi! Nazi! Right there! We got one! All right. Thank you very much, Edward. For you.
I got ants. I got ants. I don't know if you had a, ants.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
You've got karma.
Kind of abrupt, but I liked it.
Yeah, that's good. Mr. Tech E 33333. You guys are like family. I got to know you personally going on 10 years. I've got to know you personally going on 10 years. Thanks for the excellent deconstruction, in-depth analysis, ideation, and a lot of common sense. Most importantly, a whole lot of laughter. I'm wondering if you ever received a request to verify a No Agenda producer's legitimacy. I imagine Adam would take that call.
I'm trying to think. No,
because people just say, okay.
Yeah.
Generally
Yeah,
speaking,
they believe it.
Check
sure.
You could say you produced, Solo, the movie, and you'd probably, there's so many producers of that film, you probably no one would call. I would love to hear JCD Network 3x3 game show style jingle. I don't know what that is. and you know what that is?
No, but I just looked in the system for 3x3 and something popped up that's 6 seconds, so I figured we'll play it.
And a shout out to the musician. It fit great into the milieu of the time and perfect for John. It makes me laugh every time.
Let's see if this is it.
John C. Dvorak's 3x3.
I don't know if that's what he meant.
Sounds like something. Anyway, followed by some job karma. Give him that.
Okay, absolutely.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And our last executive producer is Chris Richardson, $333.33. This donation at 3333 should make me a knight. I'm currently at 897.22.
Before you read on, talk about your random number theory with this topic in 2 executive producer notes. Go on.
I'm the farrier that normally sends you 225, which is what I charge to put shoes on a horse. I've been MIA for a while. I've had some medical issues pop up. To be specific, I had my turning 50 colonoscopy, and they took 8 nasty polyps out and scheduled surgery to remove a foot and a half of precancerous colon. I've been out of work since surgery, but now I'm starting up again. Jeez. Yeah. I know what Buffett means now. I've been out of precancerous. What this not even really means anything.
Precancerous. Was there a shortage of colon? Yeah, let's take that, guys. Jeez.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah, sure. I've been out of work since surgery, but since I'm up again next week, there'll be a shitload of horses to shoe. So much I'll be able again to donate. I'll be going in every year for not one of these colonoscopies now, hoping not to find anything, but I'm not holding out much hope of a clean bill of colon health. Man, that's how the cookie crumbles. Go and get your colonoscopy, people, so you can lose your colon. I'd like to request the title of Sir Semicolon. Farrier.
Great name.
You get a sense of humor. Farrier of the frozen north if it's available, and you already have mutton and meat on the menu, and that's my favorite. And at F Cancer.
You've got karma.
There's a lot of discussion on some of these medical shows about the concept of precancerous.
Yeah, which is what it's a big thing with the HPV scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are they saying?
They're saying it's bullshit. There's no such thing.
Well, we're all. I
mean, everything.
We're
your whole
pre-dead.
body. You are precancerous. Your whole body is precancerous.
I'm pre-dead.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. There was another guy bitching about this colonoscopy thing.
Funny how when you get older, you hear more about it.
Well, yeah, but the Buffett thing is disconcerting.
I'll find that clip for you because I was amazed. Yeah.
Daniel Smith, $244.60 in Dayton, Ohio. Picking up the slack for the slow summer period, cleaning out PayPal balance because you are worth it. I give this much to cable every month, and I think it's more content from you. I think I get more content from you guys. Well, that's probably true.
Very nice.
Goat Karma, please.
So he gives how much? $244.60 a month to his cable company? How can that? Do you really think he gets value back for that? That's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, you can rack your bill up to $200 easy, $244. I guess he's gotten everything. I've noticed that I probably watch 1 or 2 HBO original shows. I don't watch any movies on HBO or Showtime or any of these things, really. Maybe I record one once in a while and let it sit on the DVR forever and then go back and watch it. I tend to watch short format dramas. I like those. Those are on network TV. You don't really need. And then there's you can go rent or not rent, but you can get yourself go buy a movie if you want to watch it.
Yeah,
maybe, or borrow it from your friends. Go find someone who's got a big collection. Find someone who's got a big collection and just borrow their stuff.
People don't have VHS tapes anymore.
No, big collection of DVDs.
Yeah, that barely. By the way,
Blu-rays.
Netflix.
Netflix. Just get Netflix.
I just wanted to say Netflix is now, according to reports, putting interstitial ads before and after shows. This is new. So your pay service now has ads. And you never got to interview the Roku guy, did you?
No.
Because I read an interview. What's his name again?
Well, I mean, I did. I had lunch with him.
I read an interesting article, an interview with him, and they're building a massive advertising platform. The Roku is a spy device. Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they were just the good guys. So they're tracking everything I'm doing to sell ads outside of their platform. This is a problem.
The Roku guy who worked with the Netflix guy.
Yeah.
But before that, he had a company that was Replay TV.
Yeah.
Which was a competitor with TiVo.
Yeah, and he got shut. It was legal stuff, and it was a big hassle.
Well, there was all kinds of issues. But one of the things was I talked to him when he was that CEO of that company. And it was Kleiner Perkins, some of the money from him. And he was not a very happy camper with the way that he was treated. But his thing was, and I was at a press conference. I remember this distinctly. I was at the press conference for the Replay TV guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about how you can pretty much replace somebody else's ads with their ads.
Oh, sure. The ISPs can do that right before it comes into your house. That's why Google wants encrypt anywhere so that ISPs can't steal their ad inventory by inserting into their packet stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like a Silicon Valley idea, that is just poaching. It's poaching. Silicon Valley.
Total poaching.
Likes the idea of like, oh, somebody's going to let's for all practical purposes, it's like driving down the road and seeing this nice big, wow, that billboard is well placed.
I'm going to put something over it.
I'm going to go paste up something on that thing.
Exactly.
Because it's there, and who's going to catch me?
And this is why I don't have one yet, but I'm going to put one together. Everybody needs a Pi hole in their house. Pi hole, not PIE. Pi hole, Raspberry Pi. I think you can probably buy them pre-assembled at this point, and you just jack it into your router and you reconfigure a few things. Not completely trivial for most, and it will block all of this stuff. No matter whether it's Google or your ISP, it'll block all ads. It's a very good system. Oh, and also when it blocks them, it gives the advertiser, whoever's placing the ad, the idea that you saw it, which is even funnier.
Well, that's what Brave does.
Yes, Brave does the same thing.
Brave does a very interesting thing. This is the browser Brave we're talking about. Mm-hmm. This is our tech segment. The browser Brave. That's why people should listen to the donation segment, because there's going to be tips
they
this.
Lose out. Yeah, they lose out on the tips.
Brave has this because I have 3 browsers on the machine typically. I use Firefox, still use it the most because it's got most of my passwords and stuff. And then I use Chrome when I really am hard up to see something that you got an ad blocker running.
Even when you turn off all the shields on the Brave browser, it still is like, you're doing something funky. Yes.
Actually, the Brave browser does the best jobs though of blocking ads, because what it does is it doesn't announce it has an ad blocker, because most ad blockers are somehow they're on the deal, and so the ad blockers are like saying, "Hey, we're an ad blocker. We're here. You might want to harass this guy." So Chrome has nothing. It lets the ads come through, so I use it for that.
Right.
But Brave tends to like, "Hey, yeah, okay, I received your ad. It's fantastic," even though you never get the ad.
It sets up a little proxy.
Yeah, a little proxy.
And this is why sometimes if you leave your Brave browser open, you go there the next morning, it won't connect. It says, I can't reach any websites, even though everything on your computer is working fine. You have internet connectivity. Under certain circumstances, certainly on Windows, I think their proxy dies if you're not using it, or it shuts down or does something. So you have to start the browser back up again. But remember, Brave's business model is even more interesting. What they want to do is you be in control of all of your indicators. That is their ultimate goal. Is we're tracking all these preferences, and they call them indicators of things you're interested in. And their idea is in the future, we as consumers will be able to say, okay, I'll turn this switch on, which I think is their term is shield. I'll lower this shield so you can see this from me in return for something very specific, like it's a real agreement. Then they have some other crypto play they're doing, which I don't think is going to work, but interesting company. From the gay-hating guy.
Yeah, the gay hating guy.
Yeah. All right.
He was rousted by some. He was one of the principals at Firefox, and he was rousted by some social justice warriors because they said, I don't know what he did. He said the G word, gay.
Yeah, no, he
or said the gays.
He sent money to a political group that hates the gays. That was the news story. It's a lot more nuanced, obviously.
Duh.
Yeah. All right. So that was a long diversion. And were we thanking someone here? Or
you were going to do the F cancer for Chris Richardson, and he had some other stuff that he needed.
No, we did the F cancer for him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we were on to Daniel Smith now.
Well, I forgot. So long ago. Daniel Smith in Dayton, Ohio becomes our first associate executive producer for the show, 1054. $244.60, and he is from Dayton.
Oh yeah, that's right. He gives his cable money every month. Okay, there we go.
He's the cable guy.
He wants goat karma. We did it.
Fine.
You've got karma.
The shortest note.
The longest conversation about the shortest note. Longer than the colon cancer. Amazing.
Well, because $244 is a lot to put out every month
for your cable.
You're not going to watch every movie and see all these things.
Oh wait, we were talking about Roku being a spy device. That's where it came from. Yeah, okay. We don't have to revisit, but we will in the future.
Sean McClellan, $200.33. Thank you for your insight and analysis. No jingles, nor no karma.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sir Sean, Knight of the Cisgendered Third World Jungle, $200 even. Thank you again for all you do. Your non-biased take is very much appreciated and needed in today's times. A question on rings. Is there a recommended finger to put your ring on?
Ooh, good question.
I do not see anything about this on the ring page, and I even typed in .htm. I would like to ask for some medical karma for. Anyway, let's stop there, and we'll answer that question. No, you can put on any finger you want.
Yeah,
there's no
protocol.
Rules.
No protocol.
I would guess right hand.
Ring finger.
Ring finger would be my guess, but I think it would look good on the thumb. The whole idea is it has a mirror image of our coat of arms. It says in the morning in Latin, but it's in mirror image. You're supposed to put it on a hand and a finger that will impact the person's mouth when you hit it, so that they have the logo and the in the morning on their face. It's actually a signet ring designed to stamp hot wax.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
On an envelope, but I guess you could use it for what Adam described. Anyway, he'd like to get some medical karma for my mother who suffered a stroke while on vacation. I would also ask you to play If You're White, You're a Racist at the end of the show in honor of the fact that I will be staying in Canada for some time to help care for my mom. Thank you, Sir Sean.
Knight of the Cisgendered Third World Jungle. Not at the end of the show. It's only 36 seconds. We'll play it for you now.
If you're white, you're a racist. If you're male, you're a pig. If you're cis, you are privileged. Skinny shaming if you're big. And if you're straight, you're homophobic. Heaven help if you're wrong. So don't have an opinion and just do what you're told.
You've got karma.
Another no agenda classic.
Secret Agent Paul, man. He's the best.
James Bertelson in Happy Valley, Oregon. $200. He'll be our last associate executive producer for show 1054. Been a douchebag since episode 300. Request a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Thanks for the sanity over the years and keeping me from drowning amongst the dementia bee slaves here in Portlandia. Jingle requests. House karma. 2 to the head. 2 to the head. Head is gone. And see that juice.
Okay. Oops. Hold on.
I would put the house karma last.
Yes. Obviously. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Here we go. Yes.
And her head is gone.
Oh my gosh. Can you see that juice?
You've got karma.
Boom.
That is a very sick,
kind of
sick collection of jingles to play in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike the "if you're white, you're a racist." Yeah.
Well,
we're highbrow here. Very highbrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're at the top of it. All righty. That's our guys who produced and social executive produced the show 1054. I want to thank each and every one of them.
Yes, thank you. And remember, these credits that you received today are real credits. We talked about at the beginning of the segment. Seems like an hour ago. Executive producer or associate executive producer of episode 1054 of the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe. Put it on your profile on LinkedIn. Put it on your resume. We will vouch for you. But so far, it's been working so good, no one has ever requested that. And remember, another show for you on Sunday.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And you've got... Woo, what was that? No, that was wrong. Damn. I'll try that again.
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's what I wanted to do. Yes, I was going to say you got a lot to talk about. Go there. Propagate the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Hey. Rob Reiner. I promised you some Rob Reiner. The man is really unhinged. But you always have the Rob Reiner clips, so I figured I'd bring you two because...
No, I don't make clips. I put them in the newsletter.
Now you've had some Rob Reiner. You know what? Rob Reiner is just... Speaking of Twitter, how can this guy still be on Twitter, according to their rules?
I don't know.
He was on the Never Funny podcast, which I have not listened to previously. But I have two clips just to share to show you how unhinged he is.
Before you do that, I found it. This is what you're looking for.
Beautiful. I miss my whistle.
First of all, we know that they invaded with the election, the Russians. We know that there has been conspiracy with some of the members of the Trump campaign. We know was designed to help Trump win. The last little piece is how much did Trump know about it and did he participate? If that turns out to be true, which I kind of believe it does. If that turns out to be true, that is the single biggest scandal in American history. And it's astounding to me that you've got Republicans just, doing handsprings, trying to keep us from knowing that. Yeah. I mean, because you're seeing authoritarianism rise all over the world, and Trump is embracing it with all these dictators. He's thumbing his nose at all our allies. So where does that leave us? I mean, I want our democracy to survive. I got a lot of good Republican friends who are very thoughtful and very principled. And
but this isn't Republican. This is something brand new.
No, because those people are right on the side of wanting to preserve democracy. Right. You've got some kind of weird, elected Republican cult. I mean, to listen to these guys go after Peter Strzok today, it was astounding.
Astounding.
Just astounding. I mean, to see that. So, we'll see what happens.
I should have warned you, Robin. I apologize we got into this too late. We're very pro-Trump on this show.
You are? Oh, well.
We also...
I really stepped into it.
You really did.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we know. What did he know? We all know. Somebody knows. But here is the clip that proves it is driving him and his family crazy.
Rob, as I've said it a million times on this show, I'm addicted to Twitter because I think by the time I'm done scrolling,
and you go back to the beginning,
there's an answer.
There'll be a new thing.
Right. It's like, I know. I'm going to get to it. Oh, not today. Bed.
I know.
Wake up. Oh, here. No, not today.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That we're living our lives like that, that he is completely just taking over everything. My wife is like that. She's in a state of craziness all the time. I mean, she can't sleep. It's like,
right.
Because you feel like democracy could be slipping away somehow. I mean, I hope it doesn't. I don't think it will, but it could happen. There's no guarantees.
It drives my wife crazy. Yeah, I can see that. I can see her going completely.
Yeah, she's worse than he is.
Yeah. That's very sad that this is taking place with these people because it's.
And the daughter's out of, she's just as bad.
Wait, who's the daughter? Who's the Reiner daughter?
Rami, I think, or MY. She's got a Twitter account. She's doing the same kind of nutty tweeting. And they retweet each other constantly. Rami and Carl and Carl too. He jumps in, the old man. It's like they were completely insane. It's the damnedest thing you've ever seen.
They may have SPD as well as TDS. TDS is now, I guess, is that now an approved syndrome? Is that in DSM-5, Trump derangement syndrome?
Should be.
We have a new one vying. Which is actually, it's called SPD, which is a great acronym. I had no idea it existed. This is a study that was just published. When was this published? This is not just published. That's interesting. I've never seen this. It's about 6 months old. Frontiers in Human Neuroscience is the publication. That is a part of the NIH, so it's an official publication. Smartphone Dependence, SPD.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a clip on this. I played a clip about 5 shows ago that they were talking about this.
Oh, well, what I didn't know is, let me see, is that it actually alters white matter integrity in young adults. Was that in the clip that we discussed? Because I don't remember that part.
No, we didn't discuss that.
So
we discussed I don't know what we discussed now, but that was not discussed. White matter integrity.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Well, white matter is stuff in the brain. I can read some of this to you. Let me see. Where's the studies on internet addiction have focused on the behaviors it involves, its influence on daily life and social performance, clinical diagnosis and treatment. They have a lot of references. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology of China. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. High-resolution magnetic resonance images, so that's MRIs, has allowed enhanced sensitivity and power to detect morphological, functional, regional, and network changes in the brain, which has facilitated exploration of the neural substrates of addiction. Evidence has shown altered gray matter density, cortical thickness, cerebral blood flow, and functional connectivity in regions involved in addictive or compulsive behaviors in subjects with internet addiction, or PSD, or SPD. Changes in white matter tracts were also affected by diffusion tensor imaging, a sensor tool that reflects the water. I don't know what the fuck this means. But apparently
Somebody should guess.
It affects your cognitive skills. Well, we have people who understand this stuff.
You think?
Yeah. Having your white matter being altered is not a good thing. I can tell you that with zero authority, but a lot of conviction.
Well, you're yourself. Let's slow down on this little discussion because this is good stuff. You go outside with your crazy Kyocera phone, which is not going to keep you occupied by any means.
No.
And you look out and you see these people just wandering around, holding the phone and looking at their phone and holding and looking, and then they're on their phone. Or you see 2 teenage girls, and you see commercials with this. The 2 teenage girls standing next to each other, both of them looking at the phone while they're talking to each other, but they're doing something on the phone.
No, worse. They're actually both posting the same picture to Instagram. Are you kidding me?
Could be. It could be. But I'm reminded of that crazy Microsoft commercial, which spotted this apparently early on when they had their Windows phone. And the commercial consisted of a bunch of people that were so oblivious to the real world that they were getting injured. There was a guy who was doing something on the golf course and a ball hits him in the head, and a guy that was staring at his phone in the bathroom and drops it in the toilet, and it's just one thing after another. And they're trying to sell the Windows phone by saying, "Hey, it's not going to make you like these
right,
people."
I forgot about that. Yes, yeah,
it was counterproductive because it was like, yeah, our phone won't addict you.
Yeah. Hey, this Coke won't work. Yeah.
Yeah, this Coke won't work, so use this. And it was counterproductive. It was like, I was thinking about what a dumb commercial it was, but it did identify a problem.
Yes,
but no, it didn't
very
sell
early,
phones.
very early on. It did not sell phones, but you're right, it did.
Yeah, identified the problem. I'd like to get those old ads are probably still on YouTube. If somebody can find a few of them, we'll put them in the link to them in the newsletter.
I was actually looking while you were talking for an email from Tanya. I didn't put it in my show prep because I didn't know it was going to come up. But she said she's not completely OTG, but she loves.
You're talking about Dame Tanya.
Dame Tanya, yes, Dame Tanya from New York. She says she's a little too embedded in Twitter communities to give it all up, and she still has face bag. But okay, so she's still hooked, basically.
Oh, yeah, she's done.
She's hooked. But okay, she says it was crazy that she had dinner with some friends. Let me see here. The one social media platform I'm thankful I've not been sucked into is Instagram. This shit, let me tell you. I have a friend who has gotten some notoriety as being an expert on burgers. He posts some pretty extreme-looking photos, like burgers with 6 patties. Wow. Through that, he has now become an influencer. I think this is a status you can get on Instagram. This is nothing official, nothing you apply for or get approved for. But if your posts get enough likes, local restaurants will invite you in for free meals in exchange for posting photos and commenting on the food on Instagram. This ends up forming a community because the local influencers keep seeing each other at influencer events and they become friends. At one point, I thought it would be great to be an influencer, but after seeing what happened last night, it's gross. I was at a friend's birthday party. They brought out a pile of sliders. What followed was a solid 15 minutes of nearly everyone attending, jockeying for a good spot to take photos, each having their own version of a handheld spotlight device to hold over the food. The party eventually moved to a different bar where several dishes were brought out. This pattern was repeated each time a new dish hit the table. I was, as the British say, gobsmacked. How can anyone live their lives that way? I order food to eat it, not to have a photo shoot with it. I'm not a Luddite, but come on. And she attached 2 photos showing this taking place. That is rather disturbing.
Wow. Yeah, that's disturbing, but at the same time fascinating.
Yes. Well, also, I heard your brain going, thinking, hey, wait a minute, I can get some free meals out of this. Maybe I should join this.
If I could get some free meals and get paid, getting free meals, is the downside of being a restaurant reviewer.
Yeah, that's true.
One guy, the guy in L.A. is 55 years old. He looked like he was 100. The restaurant critic, 55, 56 years old, dropped dead. It's a real problem in that business. I do have an ISO clip that might go with her
story
there.
Yeah, I have
One burger.
One burger, right here.
Okay. One burger. It was a whole plate full of sliders.
Yeah, it's one burger right here.
Well, we're on the brain sciences. A big deal announced this week. This is a $300 million investment from GlaxoSmithKline, the big pharma of all big pharmas, in our favorite company, 23andMe. Ah, gee, who could have seen that coming? And here's the I don't know if is the Google ex-wife, is she still the CEO? Because she's not in this. This is some other. Maybe it's the COO. I think this guy's the COO of 23andMe, and he's there with the CEO of Glaxo, and they're talking about this fantastic deal and what it means. And to me, it's like how stupid people are who jumped in on this obvious dumb scam.
The key thing I think that makes the 23andMe collaboration very special is 2 things. First of all, the size. The over 5 million customers that 23andMe has gained access to is really very, very much larger than anything, about 10 times larger than some of the other databases that are out there. But possibly even more important is that the customers in 23andMe, as Richard was alluding to, I think it's over 80% of them have actually signed up with the intent of being able to help with research, to actually contribute to our efforts to find new medicines for patients. And this ability to recontact them because they're so excited about the opportunity to participate makes 23andMe very unique and exciting.
I think people miss the idea that with over 5 million customers, it would be impossible to completely genome sequence everybody. That would cost billions of dollars and would be more information than anyone could even store in any database. So, in fact, we do genotype people, but then when we find people with interesting genotypes, we then do their DNA sequence. So we think this is a more efficient way to capture important genomic information.
You said something about something not being true? You were mumbling?
It's not true.
What's not true?
He said that you can't, there's no database could hold all this information.
Yeah, I found that kind of odd that he said that.
That's bull crap.
They have the whole internet in Utah. How can they not have that? But that's not my problem with this. My problem is this is what happens when you sign a terms of service agreement and you say, yeah, it's okay, whatever you want to do, basically, and I guess you could sell it. So I
know where you're going with this. I've been bitching about this for like 30 years. This is don't worry about it, just sign it because we're good guys. Yeah, but when you sell your company to some bad guys, what happens?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want my information in the hands of GlaxoSmithKline. And the main reason is you think it's bad in the future. Do you think it's bad when your credit card number gets stolen? Wait until your DNA gets stolen. Because these companies get hacked. They all just get hacked. And I'm going to say it again, that stupid company, what is it, the Protect Your Credit, LifeLock, where everybody has all of their stuff sitting there. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, yes, fantastic. I mean, I just see so many of these collection apps, and they have all your information. One of them, they get hacked. It happens.
Everything gets hacked.
It does. Everything gets hacked. Well, what's the new thing that everyone's using? Oh, it's the Walmart and Target. They all have apps, and then you can look for coupons online, but you have to put all your information in. I get so sad when I see people doing this, roped in by trinkets and, shiny objects. Look at the numbers. FaceBag cut off some privacy and their stock dropped 24%. Get a clue as to what you're worth. You're a human. You're worth money. That's the other problem. The $300 million investment on your back, literally. Your DNA, your strands of DNA.
Yeah, your name on a your name and address in the old days of address marketing, which is still true with the email marketing to a lesser extent.
Yeah,
it was worth $10 to $30 a piece. That's what it's worth.
Yeah, but that's on a monthly basis at FaceBack. No, I think it's like $5
bucks. Facebook, it's just $5. The numbers are out of control.
$5 a month or something you're worth. That's not bad.
Yeah. So that's not bad at all.
Yeah. I finally, somewhere somebody got into an old password of mine. I'm sure it was sold online. And I know this because I got the email. I got 3 of them. The email that says, "Ha! I found you looking at the porn website where you use the password," and he prints the password, which is a password I've certainly used maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 years ago. So it's a very old password. And say, and I turned on your camera. I don't have a camera, but okay. I turned on your camera and I got video, and I'm going to send it to everybody you know unless you give me $300 in Bitcoin.
What? You got an extortion letter?
3 of them, yeah. I'm on a
3
list.
of them.
I'm on a list somewhere.
Well, I have to assume that these are done in a broad spectrum way. In other words, they send out hundreds of thousands of them that they've grabbed from some database that you rightfully noted, and probably one person or another sends them the $300 in Bitcoin. They probably make money on doing this scam.
Of course, there's always going to. That's like you remember the guy who was no longer my friend, who was telling me how his porn scam worked. You remember?
No, I don't remember, but I might if you tell the story again.
They were basically a law office, and all they did all day long was track who had watched videos, and then the law office would send a note to them like, oh, you watched this video, but you watched it on an illegal website or something to that. It's been a while. Something to that. There's the guys in Malibu. Remember with the Ferrari, the crazy, when I went out there and stayed at his house for a night? I don't think you remember.
No.
But all they were doing was just extorting people, saying, well, this video, you clearly downloaded it. We have your IP address. Here's all the proof. So if you don't pay up $5,000, we're going to publish this information. This type of extortion, I think, is pretty rampant. And people, they just don't even want that. Here it is. I found one of them. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, I do know, and there's a password, which is an old one, is your password. Let's get directly to purpose. This is a native speaker, obviously.
Let's get to purpose.
You may not know me, and you are most like... What should I do this in, like a comic strip blogger voice? Maybe that's better.
I would think it sounds Asian, but it could be Eastern European. It might be, do it in,
Let's get directly to purpose.
European.
You may not know me. You're most likely thinking, why are you getting this email? No person has compensated me to investigate you. Let me tell you, I actually set up a malware on the 18-plus video clips sexually graphic website. And do you know that you visited this site to experience fun? You know what I mean, ha? When you were watching videos, your browser started out operating as a remote desktop with a keylogger, which provided me access to your display screen as well as cam. Right after that, my software gathered all of your contacts from your Messenger, Facebook, as well as email account. And then I made a video. First part shows the video you were viewing. Here you have good taste. And second part, that's really what it says. First part shows the video you were viewing. You have good taste. Second part shows the recording of your webcam and you. Ha! You have a pair of solutions. Let's study these choices in detail. First alternative is just ignore this email. Consequently, I will certainly send out your very own tape to every one of your personal contacts and also just consider about the disgrace you will get. Second alternative should be to give me $3,000. It's inflation. Let's call it a donation. In this case, I most certainly will instantly erase your video. You will keep going on your life like this never took place, and you will surely never hear back from me again. And then he goes on with something about, don't go to the cops. This message can't be traced back to me. I know you read it because I put a pixel in the email. This is a non-negotiable offer. Thus do not waste my time and yours by replying to this email. If you really want proof, reply with yeah. Then I will definitely send out your video recording to your 14 friends. You got my 14 friends, damn it.
Your 14 friends.
That's all I got, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, so I got a couple of those.
Well, normally if you're like a douchebag and you got like you're looking at like a lot of porn all the time and you got 14 friends, they're probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, man,
give me a link. You got a copy of that movie? How did you do that, man? Because I've been trying to get a copy of that movie.
Send me the link, bro. Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
why the internet sucks.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I'm glad we can stream and everything. That makes the show work better.
Well, yeah. If it wasn't for the internet, we would be doing the show. We'd probably be making a lot more money doing the other things, though.
Yeah, it's possible. You're a little early on that cue, if that's what you were thinking.
No. I wasn't thinking that. I'm just free-flowing. I'm not early on any cue.
All right, good.
Look at my clips. I haven't played anything.
All right, play some clips, bro.
All right, couple of things. Let's talk about we can talk about the McDougal tapes. Now,
McDougal
is the woman, the blackmailer. This is the one where they bought the. Well, let's play the tapes and we'll talk about this a little bit. These are long clips, unfortunately, but this is the McDougal tapes, part 1, CBS.
I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes.
Is this not Cohen, Trump's lawyer? Is that what this is about? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand. So this is the Trump, David John, what's his name? Cohen? David Packer.
No,
Cohen. Cohen was Trump's lawyer. Very embarrassing. Trump is paying off blackmailers, the way I see it.
Well, no, he's paying. No. Well, yeah, kind of. But what he's doing is they're setting up a company to pay David Pecker.
He's from the National Enquirer,
yes,
AMD, yeah.
To buy her story and then kill it.
Right.
And by the way, I want to say this, and I'm not going to do it because I'm sexist or I'm an executive mode or anything else. But this girl is extremely attractive, especially compared to Stormy Daniels.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen pictures of her.
Yeah, I've seen an interview with her, yeah.
She is not a slouch. But the fact that she just didn't take the money. I've had a story killed. And I don't know if it was the buy and bury or whatever they call it. I don't think so. It's just a minor story.
I'm amazed you brought this story at all, because to me, it's like it is insulting to watch these news heads talk about this incessantly.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to play it, because they're all jacked up about it.
They are.
Everybody's jacked up. And they brought a lawyer on. I didn't even, which is clip 3. They brought this lawyer on and it was Nancy O'Donnell, or whatever her name is in the morning on the CBS show, Maureen O'Donnell, whatever, the one, the kind of the
Norma
O'Donnell, Nora, whatever. She's the one who's the Trump hater, and she's grilling this woman, saying, "Isn't this illegal? It's illegal. It's illegal." And the woman, this lawyer, who's like some sort of New York lawyer, she's saying, "No, not really. It's kind of embarrassing and stupid,
right.
But you'd really have to go out of your way to make it illegal, because campaign finance.
Yeah.
And she's just going nuts, Nora. She's going crazy trying to get this woman to say something." And
can I just, the story that one of your stories that got killed, was that about some sex affair?
No, it was one of these things that just gets killed. It was one of these. I was hired to do a story on Silicon Valley. The idea, here's the thing was created. It was the list of things to do in Silicon Valley, or the favorite things of people who are from Silicon Valley. This was for Focus Magazine, which was the local magazine for KQED.
Oh my God, readership of 100.
The PBS. No, they had all their members, all the PBS. members.
They got it. Yeah.
This is had a big readership. Probably close to 1 million, maybe.
Woo!
But it was beside the point. The point was that they said, I want you to here's what you want to do. Do the top 3 restaurants, the top 3 this, the top 3 that, the top 3 this. And I do all these things. And I said, okay, I can do that. So I call a few people up and we, I got all these top 3s. But I had this one that I'm pretty sure is the reason they killed the article. Top 3 charities of Silicon Valley. Number 1, blank. Number 2, blank. Number 3, blank.
Oh, you touched a third rail. Bad boy.
They never ran the thing.
All right. Well,
they could have called me and said, I mean, they did give me the kill fee, which is paying me for the story.
Right.
But they could have said, hey, can we leave this out? They didn't have the guts to do that.
Right, because that would affect their integrity.
Yeah.
Well, so the way I understand this story is Trump had his buddy who owns the company that owns the National Enquirer buy up the story to kill it. That's what happened, right? Because he had sex with her when Melania had just given birth, and it's embarrassing and it's effed up. And so he wanted to shut that down. That's the story. And I guess Stormy Daniels is similar. And
Stormy Daniels
Michael Cohen, I remember his name now. He recorded his conversations with then just Trump.
Yeah, their conversations are lame. This is a mountain out of a molehill. They just want to do it because they're trying to do anything they can't to embarrass Trump. So we'll play along. Let's go with the McDougal Tapes 1.
I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes. And it's all the stuff.
The muffled audio was secretly recorded by Cohen in 2016, shortly before the election.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and spoken to me.
David is a possible reference to David Pecker, Mr. Trump's friend and president of National Enquirer's parent company, American Media Incorporated.
So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay the kid.
No. I got... No.
The conversation came after American Media Incorporated reached a $150,000 deal to pay former Playboy model Karen McDougal for her story about an alleged affair with Mr. Trump in 2006. The president denies the affair. Mr. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, fired back, saying the recording only proves the president's claims that he did not know about the transaction, and provided this White House transcript of the recording, which claims that Mr. Trump says, "Don't pay with cash, check."
Everybody heard just now Donald Trump say the word cash.
Ooh. Imagine that.
That's where the guy, they throw this one guy in, it was this gratuitous. He said the word cash.
Cash. That's proof.
It's proof.
Detective Dookie on the case.
So it continues in this stupidity. We'll play part 2.
Mr. Trump and his longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen, can be heard discussing a payment involving former Playboy model Karen McDougal. She says that she had an affair with Mr. Trump more than a decade ago, and the president has denied that.
Repeatedly, he's denied that. Michael Cohen's lawyer, that's Lanny Davis, released a secret recording to CNN last night. The move intensifies a feud between Cohen and President Trump.
This Lanny Davis guy sounds like a shyster.
You think? And by the way, I want to point something out. These two women, Nora and the woman who's
Gail.
These two women worked alongside without saying a peep.
Charlie
Rose. That was their associate. They brought him on the show. And for a couple of years, he's working there. They're just dead silent about the fact that he walks around
swinging
naked.
his schwang at every intern, and they knew it. Of course, that's stuff that gets known. Yeah, you're right. Hypocrites. Is that the hypocritical? That's maybe the word you're looking for.
I'm not looking for a word, but if I was, that would be the word.
Repeatedly, he's denied that. Michael Cohen's lawyer, that's Lanny Davis, released a secret recording to CNN last night. The move intensifies a feud between Cohen and President Trump. Now, CBS News has not verified the recording's authenticity.
So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay the kid.
No. I got... No.
There is a dispute, over what the tape says and what it actually means. Major Garrett is at the White House with more on this story. Major, good morning.
Good morning. This is one of at least 12 audio recordings seized by the FBI from Cohen's various properties back in April. There are literally tens of thousands of other documents. Now, the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said he did not object to the release of this tape because he said it proves Mr. Trump's side of the story. But the tape's release is an escalation carried out by Cohen's legal team and a clear sign of the estrangement between Mr. Trump and his former friend and fixer. On Monday, the White House deviated from its previous blanket denials of McDougal's alleged affair with Mr. Trump.
Again, the president maintains that he's done nothing wrong, and I would refer you to Rudy Giuliani.
There's no question that Michael Cohen has the goods on the president.
Michael Avenatti represents adult film star Stormy Daniels, to whom Cohen made a payment shortly before the election to keep silent about an alleged one-night stand with the president back in 2006. Mr. Trump has also denied his affair with Daniels. Davis said the recordings reveal those denials about McDougal are false.
This is not a man shocked about Karen McDougal. He knows what they're talking about.
American media's payment effectively silenced McDougal throughout the 2016 campaign. Now, Cohen's lawyer did not have an explanation for why this recording was made, or Nora, why it cuts off abruptly.
All right, Major, thank you so much.
Any canoodling?
Oh, man. They're obsessed with it. They're obsessed.
Yeah. And again, I'll remind you that Nora and Rosie, Gail, are sitting next to Charlie Rose for years, but didn't say nothing. But they're all worked up about this. So let's just play. This is only part. Believe me, this third clip could have gone on for days. It's mostly Nora trying to get this woman to say he committed some sort of a crime.
The recording raises some serious questions about possible violations of campaign finance law. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman is with us. Good morning.
Morning.
We've heard that prosecutors have 12 tapes. This is just part of one of those tapes. From what we've heard...
Is this just all promotion for Tom Arnold's show?
I don't think so.
Okay, because he has that show coming out, the Trump tapes.
If it even comes on.
Yeah, it probably will.
Prosecutors have 12 tapes. This is just part of one of those tapes. From what we've heard, was a possible crime committed.
Possible, but not in and of itself. It is not illegal to pay someone with a non-disclosure agreement. That happens all the time in order to keep people from giving up information that might embarrass someone.
But that's not what happened. What happened is this was a catch and kill story by American media and David Pecker, and this tape might suggest that then the now president knew about it and that they may have also helped fund it.
Well, there's no question that the president knew about it. We can tell before the election, even though he had Hope Hicks deny that there was any knowledge. The question becomes whether or not it's a campaign finance violation, because if they knew about it, simply knew about it, they had to account for it because it's an in-kind contribution. The fact that they thought about paying David Pecker and American media, the National Enquirer, to continue this catch and kill and get the rights to Karen McDougal's story, that in and of itself might not be illegal, but it certainly smacks of something that we don't like.
And the reason it has this campaign aspect is that there was about to be an election, and this was going to hurt the president's fortunes, and so get rid of it. In other words, this isn't a side deal. This has to do with whether he's going to succeed or not in the campaign.
It's September of 2016. He wants it done within 2 months. He wants it out of the way, and that's why it looks like it fits a pattern, including Stormy McDaniel.
They never could get her to say there's anything illegal that happened. So this is just a scandalous story that Nora, who just hates Trump to an extreme, was, probably helped promote to get on the show. I think the thing is just a dead end.
Well, yeah, of course it is. It's stupid. It's insulting. It's annoying. It's taking up time. And it's, above all, it's unwatchable. I don't think people care anymore. I think, in fact, I'm pretty sure most people have checked out of everything. Don't even worry about Russia anymore.
I'm not going to argue it because I'm noticing it too.
Yeah. And it's just to give you an example,
and in fact, I'll tell before you give you the example, I would say this, that because I've been working on the news, I was putting some Rob Reiner clips into the newsletter. Not clips, but, tweets.
Yes.
And I started looking at the last couple. I'm thinking, this guy's already 27. This guy is like, this isn't even good anymore. It's not even fitting into the current narrative. It's just them going on, traitor, treason.
Yeah, and they've brought back the Russians hacked into networks of key U.S. power companies last year. I mean, now they're bringing that back, which was already categorically proven as not true.
No, it's back.
But the story's back.
And not only that, but give me what you were going to talk about that analysis. I have a couple of clips about that.
Well, I was going to take this into Brexit, where the Russians are being blamed as well. But if you want to do something else.
Oh, yeah.
This is Aaron Bank. Aaron Bank is one of the big financiers of the Brexit campaign. He's one of these. I know guys like this, typical British entrepreneur. He's probably in Mallorca, hanging out during the summer, or maybe Saint-Tropez, Nikki Beach. He's got a gut, he's got this kind of. In a way, I have to say these British guys like this remind me of Russian businessmen, strangely enough. They're not that far separated. Maybe that's part of his problem.
They may have modeled themselves. The Russians, it's like the Japanese Yakuza modeled themselves after the mafia.
Could be. And he is being accused of taking money from Russians through investments into his mines, which apparently don't work very well. He has 3 diamond mines. And funneling that money to facilitate Brexit, so the Russians did it.
Aaron Banks, one of the most influential men in British politics, he gave at least £9 million to bankroll the Leave campaign in the Brexit referendum, making him one of the biggest political donors in British history. But he's never explained where that money came from.
You could show us where the money had come from. You could show us. I told you,
it's come from my bank account. I don't know what else to say.
The companies that had made enough profits to justify it, because we certainly can't see them.
As far as I'm concerned, I've done what I had to do.
We went to South Africa to find out more about Arron Banks' wealth. He owns 3 diamond mines here.
This is the BBC going to Africa to track down this $9 million that came from Russia that messed up the country.
The guy's loaded. He's got $9 million that he can splurge on these things.
Yeah, but as you heard, said, yes, but your company's profits don't justify that. I mean, again,
the day-to-day profits might not. I mean, he could have accumulated $100 million for all you know.
But even if true, if $9 million worth is enough to tip the country into leaving the EU, then, spend 20 and keep them in the EU.
I've done what I had to do.
We went to South Africa to find out more about Arron Banks' wealth. He owns 3 diamond mines here, but we learned that so far he spent £10 million and got very little back. In court papers, his former partner in the mining business wrote, Banks had been dealing with Russians who contemplated investing in the mines. I was informed by Banks that he had travelled to Russia and discussed with them the diamond opportunities. There is no suggestion in the court papers that the Russians went on to invest. But Banks says this is the account of a disgruntled former business partner and that he has never had business dealings with any Russian investors.
Are you categorically stating that you didn't even approach Russian investors?
I spoke to no Russian investors about this. 100%.
Your right-hand man who ran these mines, James Pryor, told us that papers were prepared and sent to Al Rosa, the Russian state government.
They weren't.
The Russian state diamond company
I assume you've got evidence. So you have evidence of that?
This is the man who runs your mines.
He doesn't run my mines. I had no involvement with Russian money or even requested it. I've said that categorically. Now, if you can prove that, then you've won your, jackpot, haven't you? But unfortunately, I didn't.
So far, despite all the questions hanging over his finances and his links to Russia, Arron Banks hasn't been willing to say.
What links to Russia?
It's links to Russia.
Wait a minute, they just threw that in gratuitous.
Yes.
It was denial. She could have said his
alleged.
There's no evidence of links to Russia. This one guy said that he maybe made a pass at them to get some money. But she throws in and his links to Russia at the end of that BBC report.
Yep. Isn't that beautiful how they do that?
Unbelievable. This is like American television.
They've learned well. By the way, I don't have any clips of it. I want producers to be on the lookout for the following phrase. It's been brought to my attention as a thing. It's certainly showing up in print. I'd like to see if we can find it on clips. And the phrase is, without any proof. And this is or evidence, proof or evidence are interchangeable. This is everywhere. Donald Trump said, but without any proof, da-da-da-da. So-and-so said, without any proof, without any evidence, blah, blah, blah. Be on the lookout for that, because this is what they just did. The BBC just said, without any evidence, links to Russia. But that is apparently a phrase.
I'll take a look. I'll look out for it, too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to that Russian power grid hack.
Yeah.
Now, this is CBS with your favorite guy doing the report.
Poop Man. Jeff Begays.
Jeff Begays.
The only guy whose name I really know. I can't remember anybody's name, but Jeff Begays. I remember his.
Begays,
yeah. I'm gonna poop. I'm gonna talk about the story.
Well, he's got. He's at his best on this one.
Okay. Jeff, this is a threat I feel like we've heard about for a long time. So what was the new information today?
Well, the new information is the extent of these...
Well, I'm crowning! You're right. Thank you. I appreciate this, John. This is really this makes me smile.
Well, the new information is the extent of these intrusions. Brooke, imagine if these power grids had been shut down. And I think, yes, we've heard about these threats before, but the question is the message getting through? These Russian intrusions, we learned today, more widespread than originally known. DHS officials gave a briefing where they said that there have been hundreds of government critical infrastructure, private companies affected by this, hundreds of victims. And so that was a bigger number than we'd heard before.
And how did they do it? And can we be doing a better job protecting this stuff?
Well, you can always do a better job of protecting critical infrastructure, especially when it comes to these types of cyber intrusions. But what they did is really fairly simple. This was another one of those spear phishing email attacks where a victim clicks on a link and then the hackers get control of usernames, passwords, and then they were able to use that information to get into these utility control systems. And according to the DHS officials said that they were in a position where they could have just flipped, switched, and shut down a power grid. And so that's how close they came to potentially taking control of a power grid. And that's why people are concerned.
Sorry. Where is he getting this information from?
And the great thing about this story is that it's just another spear phishing thing.
Yeah.
And this is where, and then they go on. You hear in the second half, our intelligence folk claim that it is a Russian government. It was not, Russian sanction, government sanction, or whatever the words they use.
Yeah.
Which is this? Wait a minute. Is this the best? Hey, we like to sanction something, borders. It's like the best thing they can do is a spear phishing attack. Where's Stuxnet?
Yeah.
And these complicated things you can run, but no. Spear phishing, that's the best the Russians can do. This is bull crap.
It's fantastic. I love this. Part two?
It is. This is similar to the intrusions that we've been talking about in terms of the 2016 election. These are state-sponsored hackers who are carrying out these types of intrusions. And it is really part of a pattern that U.S. intelligence and law enforcement officials have noticed with these Russian hackers. So Russian officials might deny that there is any connection, but of course U.S. officials don't agree with that at all. They have seen the intelligence. They have obviously made the connection, and they are reaching out to private industry. They are trying to help critical infrastructure counter these threats, which, as I mentioned, are ongoing. Any collusion?
Jeez.
So here's This is the only reason these stories work is because we're still thinking of Russia in the Soviet era.
Yes.
Because back then, to do anything, you'd have to be kind of state-sponsored because everything was run by the state. There was no private enterprise. But nowadays, the Russians have become very entrepreneurial. There's no reason that they have to use the state. I mean, they're as talented as the Ukrainians are at stealing passcodes and credit card information, and then running up bills here and there. The idea is to steal money.
Yeah.
To do criminal activity, and this is nonsense. This whole story reeks of just naivete. So, and if the best they can do is spear phishing, which any kid can do.
Yeah.
It's bull.
Yeah.
And I've been getting a funny email recently, even though I get no spam. I've been getting this, and I've gotten about 5 of them so far. And I'm trying to figure out how it works or what they're going to do. I've got enough protection I can click on stuff and then I just get an alert. But I don't normally want to. In this case, I won't because it's Russian. And so, or supposedly, it could be Ukrainian. So I get this email notification, rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, this email that you sent has been rejected and has been bounced back. And please.
Oh, yeah, one of those. Those go to the bit bucket. I don't look at those.
And so I always look at them because sometimes I'll send a note to somebody. I want to know if it got bounced, like half the notes I send to you.
Not anymore. I fixed that.
Uh-huh. And so I go look at this. It said, and it's got an email address. I don't know anybody, Adjit 2020, or any crazy thing. I'm thinking, so I go down, I look at the attachments, and there's an attachment.
Uh-huh.
Of course, the attachment's got a Russian name. It's all in Cyrillic.
And what file type was it?
It doesn't matter. I think it was a PDF, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not clicking on it, whatever it is, because it may not be whatever it says it is. It may be just an executable.
You think?
And I'm not going to get spear-fished. I'm not.
Hey, can we drop the spear? It's phishing. It's PH phishing.
The difference is that supposedly spear phishing is targeted at you specifically, as opposed to just a broad range of crap, stuff sent out.
Okay, all right.
So it is a difference, but yeah, I don't mind. But and I'm sure I'm not targeted, so you're probably right. It's probably phishing, but I'm not clicking on it. And I got about 4 or 5 of these things. I wonder what, I'm just going,
come on, click on it. I'll click on it.
I'd like to. I'll
click on it.
A sandbox.
Click on it.
I got some isolated machines. I'll click on it.
Click on it now. Click on it. Come on, click on it. Here, click on this. I'll click on this for you.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
Well, we got a few people to thank for show 1054, and I want to thank them, starting with Chris Bolton, who came in from Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire, UK, 137.17, and he is an understated Brit and says, "Keep up the adequate work."
Oh, thank you. Tally-ho.
Adequate.
Yes, adequate indeed.
Yes, I think so. Alan Sibley in Muskegon, Michigan, 12345.
And he has, he actually says, it's a long time since I donated. He wants a dedouching.
You've been dedouched.
More importantly, he wants a douchebag call out for Jeremy.
Douchebag.
And for David.
Douchebag.
There you go. Thank you.
Done and done.
Yep.
Donald Borowski, Sir Baron Donald, who of the fire bottles, Spokane Valley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 of them. But he sent a note in on the United Federation of Planets letterhead.
The official ones, yes.
Requires me to read it.
Mm-hmm. Of course. It's from the Federation. Are you kidding me?
Starfleet Command.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, why is Starfleet Command trademarked? That's what I don't get. But okay. Hey, guys, 2 items today. On show 1045, Sean McClellan asked for at 130.38 in the podcast, what is behind the United Federation of Planets letterhead?
Yes.
So here's another example that John can put in the newsletter. 2, I did the accounting and closed and discovered that I have achieved Viscount.
Oh.
Many people get to Viscount or request it. I request the Bob Dylan title change song. Note that.
Yeah,
I wish to expand my protectorate to include all of eastern Washington state, everything east of the crest of the Cascade Mountains. Cheers and beer, Sir Donald of the Fire Bottles, Baron of Spokane Valley, WA6 OMI 73s.
Okay, Viscount of the Fire Bottles and all of Spokane.
Well, see, this has got to be changed. No, now it's Eastern Washington, all of Eastern Washington state, which includes Spokane Valley.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't have that title change on my list here.
You probably wouldn't unless Eric is a psychic, but he should be. Anonymous in Hoboken,
New Jersey.
Hoboken, $100.33. David Oliver in Calistoga, California, 100 flat. Rogue Black Knight of the Baron of the Palouse, $99.99. Saneke Van Hees.
That would be
Saneke Van Hees.
Sonica Van Hees. Sonica
Van Hees.
Van Hees.
Sonica.
There's a girl, Sonica.
Van Hees. Sonica.
And
that's a woman, right?
Yes, she sends a boob donation.
Well, she did.
Mm-hmm. For her sweetie, Patrick Big Lion. His birthday is on August 2nd. We are from Holland and love your show. Greets, Sonica. Greets. Such a Dutchism. Nice, thank you.
William Boda, Matthews, North Carolina, another boob donation. Looking forward to Thursday. Longtime douchebag. It's time for me to change my ways. Give him a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
I'll put some real estate karma for you at the end and say hi to your brother. Richard Hufford, another 800. I had it on there.
You had a boob link?
Yeah, I had a boob link.
Boob link.
A boob link.
Boob link.
Thanks, John and Adam. Andy Cantrell, Terrigal Beach, New South Wales, Australia, another boob. And Sir Joel, Battleborn Black Baron of Northern Nevada in Reno. Another boob, 8008. Save the Empire.
He mentions the South Tahoe, Lake Tahoe meetup. I have the info here. Let me just do that.
Okay, please read.
This is from Baron Joel Blazik and Baron Sir D.H. Slammer. They humbly request one final meetup reminder announcement on the show, of course. Sonny's Barbecue, Sonney, Sonny's Barbecue in South Lake Tahoe. This coming Sunday, is that this Sunday? Yeah, the 29th, July 29th. They already have 8 RSVPs for a relatively remote location. This is good news. So go to
get 12 people.
Meetup.com/NoAgendaSLT.
Sir D.H. Slammer's going to be up there? I thought he was in Southern California.
Well, he's requesting it.
Well, there you go.
Nice. All right. That should be great. Send pictures.
Yes, send pictures. Sir Brian Kaufman in Scottsdale, $75.75. Anonymous, $70 from Liverpool, Great Britain. We got a red note here. So it says, my first donation, I'll listen to the show. Donation is got more value, but considered my first of many. Since listening to the show, I've been punching people in the mouth weekly, introducing a number of new listeners. I'd like to shout out to my brother Chris in Taiwan, who introduced me to the show, called me out as a douchebag, his house spider, Harvey Webstein, and please call him out.
Okay, hold on. Wait, first we got to call out him.
Douchebag. Then you got to call out Angus D. in Town, New Zealand. Douchebag. Because he never donated. No de-douching for me, please, as I am far behind on payments. Anonymous.
All right. He'll save that novelty for the future, he says. Okay, good. Thank you, Anonymous UK.
Robert Hausner in Marmora, Ontario, Canada, 67 and 88. Baron Mark Tanner, 66 from Whittier. Anthony Bullock in Sedan, Victoria, Australia, 5678. Zachary Jude in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 5603. Liz, Vanessa, and Sean, hello. Tim Schallberger in Bend, Oregon, 5511. Double nickels on the dime. He's got into is he on the list? He should be. Oh, he's the one who had.
Yes.
Another guy had an operation. He couldn't get on the list. Open heart surgery.
Oh,
so needless to say, no time for follow up.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, glad you're okay.
Yeah, me too. Chris Kincaid in Flint, Texas. Double nickels on the dime. Well, that was 5511. It looks like he needs a de-douching.
I'll give it to him.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Phenom in Appleton, Wisconsin, 5169, and there's a birthday coming up. Shout out for somebody. Christian Hansen in Bozeman, Montana, 5150. Chris Sundberg in Mercer Island, Washington, 51. Sergeant Postal from Miami Lakes, Florida, 5043. He did send a short note in, which I want to read because I think it's sorry to hear about the poor donations. I hope this helps. He wants a karma jingle. We'll put that at the end for you. Continue your great work, Sergeant Postal. P.S. Thank you for always saying nice things about the U.S. Postal Service. Huh?
Yeah, well, because we enjoy the service. There's no other reason, but we think it's a good service. I like it. It's constitutional. You know, there's
it's in the Constitution. It's one of the few things in the Constitution that has to be done. They do a good job.
They're
getting screwed by the government by having to do all these, by prepaying 10 years of retirement.
Yeah.
Nobody else has to do that.
Nope.
Maybe it's more than 10. It's a JIP. Roy, so I say, so my daughter goes, so you still using the word JIP?
Oh, because it refers, it's xenophobic.
Yeah, it's xenophobic.
Because you're generalizing gypsies as being thieves. Somebody call Cher. Somebody call Cher. We have to remove her song. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
Roy Ten Hava, I'm guessing, in Pinyaker.
Okay. No, you wait a minute. You skip some people here, man. How about Sir Eric VM?
Oh, Sir Eric VM, Baronet of the Valley, 5038. Sorry, you're right. Joe Bissessi, 5038.
And then
Roy Ten Hava.
Very close.
Pinyaker.
Roy Ten Hava in Pijnacker.
Yeah.
Pijnacker.
It's the closest you really want from an American.
First time donor.
5030. Yeah.
So he gets a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
This next one is great. PayPal really did a number on us with this. We always have an issue with Unibyte encoded characters coming through.
Yeah. I think they did this on purpose. It's Alexander Diamond in Abbotsford, BC, 5005. And then he says, General Karma, please, thank you for the last name is pronounced, and then it's just a series
of characters.
Unicode crap.
Yeah. We think it's
very
Diamond.
Funny. He did that. This is bullcrap. This was not
on purpose, yeah.
I'm sure of it.
Okay.
Another one of our guys.
No, it looks like phonetic spelling because I see the E, I see the A, the M, the N at the end. I think it's some kind of phonetics.
Well, I'll cut and paste and put in something that reads.
All right. Yeah.
Sir Daniel Warren, it's too late now. Boise, Idaho, 5001. And Scott Nelson, Melbourne, Florida, 5001. We got some karma requests in throughout those last ones, including Alexander. So we'll put that at the end. Now, these following people are $50 donors, name and location if possible. Mitchell Kaufman in Hillsboro, Oregon. Kenneth Lindeberg in Miami, Florida. Michael Kleckner in Ewing, New Jersey. Sir, what's his face over there? 50. He's over there. Jose Ferreira in Newbury, Berkshire, UK. Jason Zeisler in Renner, South Dakota. Louis Pastor, or Louis Pastor, or Al Pastor's brother, Miami, Florida. Nils Bonnecker in Hamburg, Deutschland. James Bauchman in Frederick, Maryland.
He wants a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Alexa Delgado in Aptos, California. Anonymous OTM is our last guy, and he comes in with 50, and that'll conclude our list of producers for show 1054. And then we have others to thank we thank the others that came in with lesser amounts that wanted to remain anonymous or just have a subscription going on.
Yeah, thank you again, everybody coming in today and making it all work in our value for value proposition. Yeah, you could be spending $244.60 a month on cable. Do you get the same amount of enjoyment? Could you balance that out a little bit? That's how it works. If you got some value from the show, whatever it was worth to you, send it to us and we can continue. It's been working for 10 years. We're quite proud of our community. I do call this a community, but it's really a value network. And we'll do it again on Sunday. All you have to do is remember to go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
The Karmas, as requested.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It becomes a community. Whoops.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say it becomes a community if people go to the meetups.
Yes. And remember the one at Lake Tahoe. And here's your list list for today. It is July 26, 2018. Brian McFadden will actually celebrate it. He turned 50 on the 24th. We say happy birthday to him. Jonathan Hoffman says happy birthday to Jason Caldron, who turned 27 yesterday. Sir Phenom will be celebrating 51 years on July 28th. And Sonica Fun Hess says happy birthday to her sweetie Patrick Big Lion. He'll be celebrating on August 2nd. And we say happy birthday from all your buddies in the staff and management here at the best podcast in the universe. And we have one knighting today. It's always nice to have one. So there's my blade. Yo, blade.
Got it.
Yeah, perfect. Chris Richardson, come on up. You, my friend, have supported the best podcast in the universe, the amount of $1,000 or more, and therefore you take a seat here at the round table where we have all of our knights and dames, and I'm very proud to pronounce-ticate thee, Sir Chris Richardson. Oh, wait a minute. We have another one here. We have Tim Schallberger also being a knight. He just popped up on stage. Tim, thank you. For you as well. Here's your title, Sir Tim Schallberger. Gentlemen, for you, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We've got Brisket and Barrel-Aged Copper Ale, Early Times and BF4, Cross Ship and Cane Breaks, Boba and Stinky Tofu. We got Mutton and Meat as well. If you go to noagendanation.com/rings, Eric the Shill will connect you with that fine piece of jewelry. Well, I almost missed Tim there. I'm glad he popped up on stage. That's good. Thank you both for supporting the No Agenda show and everything we do. It's quite fantastic to see that kind of support. And then we have...
Title changes, turn and face the slave.
Hey, you requested the Dylan.
Don't want to be a douchebag.
The Dylan one. Thank you.
Come gather round, douchebag, producer and slave. As we all thank your brothers and sisters who gave, and some of them knights, some of them dames, for the titles are a-changing.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes, Sir Donald Borowski becomes Viscount of the Fire Bottles and all of Eastern Washington State as of today. And that will be reflected on the peerage maps at itm.im/peerage and dvorak.org/peerage.htm. Leave the L off for extra savings. And thank you, Sir Donald. Okay, good.
I like the way you switched over from one jingle to the other. Can you imagine having to do that, 20 years ago with using cart machines?
Hold on. Yes, I've got it. Yeah, thank goodness. So
I have another way before you go on. I have another entry for the ISO.
Okay.
And the show ISO.
Oh yes, ISO. Yes. Okay.
Psycho laugh.
Now we got to come back.
Oh, yay! That was the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think one burger is better.
One burger, right here.
It's better. It's shorter.
Yeah, well. Okay.
I mean, this is the one I had for the ISO at the end of the show.
Any canoodling?
Which I thought was cute. Any canoodling, but
yeah.
So far, one burger is ahead, I guess.
I think burger's better, yeah. You're probably right.
But President Obama visited Kenya.
Yes, this is a great story. I didn't have any clips from it, but I followed it.
I do. I have a clip, and also there's I was reading the...
he's going back to see his homeland.
Yes, I was reading the Kenyan Star, and I just want to read a little bit from this article because people in Kenya are not so happy with him. I didn't realize. Just want to read a bit of this article. November 4th, 2008 was the proudest day for the world, and again, this is from the Kenyan Star. The U.S. had elected the very first black president, and African Americans seemed seemingly overcome decades, even centuries of racial prejudice. It was a great time to be black and even greater to be Kenyan or an African for that matter. In Kenya, the news of his victory was greeted with much pride. Suddenly he had more cousins than could be counted, and never mind that a good number of them were not even Luo. Luo? L-U-O?
Yeah, I didn't know that he was a Luo.
He's from Hawaii. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, what am I thinking?
A visiting American friend brought with him an Obama campaign badge, and my son, then still young, happily donned it going to church. His riveting speeches were replayed 1,000 times, and I downloaded quite a few of them, which I still have. It was a new dawn of great promise, not just for Africa, but also for the world at large. Obama took his presidency with stride. Kenyans and indeed most Africans believed he was, quote, our man in the White House, even though he's from Hawaii and Indonesia. Expectations were as diverse as there are people in Africa. A Ugandan friend I met in Europe told me the moment Obama was declared U.S. president, a janitor at Makuri was so overjoyed that he ordered a beer and told the waiter, Mpabia Obama mkusala, get me a beer. Obama will pay. See, this is how they were thinking about it in 2008. Simply put, the expectations of many were high and sometimes out of this world. At least for this janitor, it was free beer, and many forgot he was indeed an American president first and not African. Somehow those expectations continued to linger even after he left office. Many of those who lined up the streets to meet him had their own list of things they wanted him to do for them, from schools to universities to libraries to whatever. Perhaps Obama should have invested more in managing expectations, since an innocent visit like the one he had only served to whip up expectations when in fact he can only do so much. And then it goes on to say that everyone was really disappointed because guess what? Obama did not deliver universities and hospitals to Kenya because he's the American president. But upon his return to say hi to everybody, people were not so happy. Here's some of the complaints. He gave Kenya a wide berth and did not visit during his first term, only visiting when he was left with 2 years in office. While Kenyans still appreciated that, nothing much came from his relationship with Kenya. He's from Hawaii. I don't understand. Besides, he spectacularly failed to keep his promise to come with his wife the next time he came. Wow, let's not double entendre that. Michelle Obama has given Kenya the cold shoulder, and social media has compared her to a woman who hated her husband's rural home and in-law and preferred his husband's rural home and in-law, I don't know what to say here, and preferred to remain in the comfort of their city residence rather than spend time in smoky rural homes. Their 2 daughters have not set foot in the land of their ancestry. Is it close to Hawaii? I'm confused. A certain Kalenjin man, Felix Kiprono, offered 50 cows from Alia's hand, including 70 sheep and 30 goats. Kiprono was distorting the market with such astronomical offers. However, says they were offering money and cows for the kids. So they're pissed off at him because he didn't do anything. And I don't understand why they're pissed off. He was born in Hawaii. His father's from Indonesia, but somehow they have this idea that he's from Kenya. I don't understand. Here's the president speaking there.
And the fact that because she knew where she came from, because she understood her story and how it connected to the past and how it connected to the other young people in this community who maybe hadn't had as much opportunity as we had or had been quite as lucky. It was out of that spirit that the wonderful facility that we see today has been built. So I tell you that story because I could not be prouder of what my sister has accomplished. And I think it makes all of us who are Obamas or claim to be Obamas extraordinarily proud. Now, 3 years ago, I visited Kenya as the first sitting American president to come from Kenya.
What? What did he say?
He's not a Muslim either.
He said he was the first president to come from Kenya.
That's what he said. That's out of his own. He's not using a speechwriter anymore. You can tell that. That's for sure. He's back to his old, style of talking.
I'm confused.
I think you should ISO that.
The first president to come from Kenya?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I was just very surprised by that. Is he only doing that to pander to them, or is he from Kenya? And how does he come from Kenya?
Why would he pander? He's not the pandering type. That's Trump.
No, sorry. Anyway, I was very confused by that story. I don't understand. Probably just me.
Yeah, it's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Southern Poverty Law Center is tracking a new metric in the war against men, mainly white men, but in this case, all men. There's a new term. It's not a new term. It's an old term that they've co-opted, that they've taken as their own. We've had toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
But now we have a hateful ideology which advocates for the subjugation of women. And that ideology is known as male supremacy.
That was...
So there's this thing now male supremacy.
Why?
I don't know. But the Southern Poverty Law Center...
I think it's a soft...
Well, go ahead. What do you think?
Well, I think the subjugation of women is part of the Muslim faith.
Yeah. It's funny they don't mention that in the article. Let me see. Let me do a quick Control F. Let me see if Muslim is in this article. Gee, 0 matches. Okay. Oh. No, I think
what they're trying to do is promote just all men, so the Muslim faith can get just soften the blow a little bit. Could be a scam.
They have a whole bunch of examples here.
It's an attempt to brainwash the public again.
Yeah, well, they have examples of quotes from, I guess, horrible men.
Oh, the horrible men quotes. Okay, yeah. I'm all ears.
Okay. We've shouted endlessly at a deaf world that we were on the path to destruction, and we have watched our predictions of men being reduced to indentured servants to a malicious matriarchy come true, even as society continues to dismiss and humiliate us for speaking. That doesn't sound like supremacy. Sounds like cuck. Sounds like cuck talk. Women, please. This is another one from A Voice for Men. Women, please listen to Whoopi Goldberg if you don't want to be slapped, backhanded, punched in the mouth, decked, or throttled. Keep your stinking hands off of other people. A man hitting you back after you've assaulted him does not make you a victim of domestic violence. It makes you a recipient of justice. Deal with it. Man, they're making us look like shitheads. And I'd be on the lookout for male supremacy. We've had the toxic masculinity. That may be the follow-up.
Well, toxic masculinity, I don't think went anywhere because it was too hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Kind of like colonoscopy. It's one of those tough words.
I had nothing but trouble. But it wasn't the word when it was printed on the other guy who had colonoscopy. It was the handwriting, and it was plural, and it was very difficult for some reason for me to say.
We had this shooting in Toronto, which is, I guess, still unclear whether the guy was clinically insane or a terrorist, or mentally insane, I should say. Faisal Hussein. Yeah. Well, I mean,
they're going out of their way
to say he's not.
Yeah, it's just a poor, unhappy guy.
Well, if you listen to this quick clip of a story about his family, yeah.
From family and friends, we get this description of the suspected Danforth shooter.
He was a very friendly guy. You know, he never caused any violence to anyone.
He hugged me when he comes close and laughed.
29-year-old Faisal Hussein was a quiet man, family friends say, who had mental illness but held several jobs, including at this Loblaw store. But a police source tells CTV News Hussein was previously investigated by Toronto police under the Mental Health Act. CP24 has confirmed he attended high school at Victoria Park Collegiate and in 2010 made comments to school officials that led them to contact police. The source says he spoke about being the Joker from the Batman movie and talked about liking death and explosions. A family spokesperson says Hussein's mother lost a daughter to an accident, has a son in a coma, her husband has Parkinson's, and now she has to live with the guilt, pain, and loss from this Danforth shooting.
Man, that's a messed up family.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
They go gunning people down.
So do they not have background checks in Scandinavia so they can check and see if someone's insane?
They didn't even let people walk around with guns like that.
But this guy, he was clearly being treated for mental issues. He'd been in touch with law enforcement.
Canada's got all these gun laws. They got the kind of gun laws that a lot of people in this country, the lefties, would love to have. So how's he get a gun?
We need to know more about the gun laws in Toronto. The province may be different than others. I'm not sure. I really don't know.
The whole country is anti-gun. I mean, I remember one time I was crossing the border in a car, And the guy, I swear to God, this is what he said, because we were all kind of flabbergasted. He says, "Hey, okay, what you can do in Canada, eh? Oh, by the way, have you got a gun in the car?" And I said, "No." He says, "Okay, that's good. Do you?"
You look legit.
He says, "Okay." He says, "Do you have guns at home?"
At whom?
And I said, "No, I've got no guns at home."
That was a lie.
Well, yeah, it was. He says, "Okay, that's good." He says, "Do you know anybody who has guns?" He says, and I said, "Well, not offhand. I can't name people that have guns." But
was this before you knew me? Lie again.
What is the point? What point are you trying to make? Eh? And he says, "Oh, just wondering." He motions me on, but it's like, do I know anybody who has guns? Is going to be a black check?
Well,
so they're really uptight about guns in Canada.
Yeah, interesting. My spin instructor came back from vacation, and they went to Mexico, she and her fiance, and she was telling me about coming back across the Mexican border, and which I have not done in a vehicle. I've only been there twice with an airplane. And she said, there's a fast pass lane, which typically takes about half an hour to stand in line and get through. And they were shutting that down for some reason. And the regular line, she said, that's like a 9-hour wait to cross the border. And she said, 10 years ago, she had come in through Mexico with her dad. And she says, it was nothing like I remember. She said, it was like the third world. It was just crazy, just like Escape from New York type scenes, and people doing weird things like selling puppies at the border. Like that's where you're going to go puppy shopping. But she said it was a real mess.
Not bad. What border are we talking about? It's got to change from place to place to place. Was this El Paso?
I think it was El Paso. Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad in Tijuana or Mexico or San Diego. Maybe it might be.
Well, I guess
give us some anecdotes.
Yeah, we do need some of those.
All right. Well, I've got since we talked about the guy.
We got to wrap it up, John. And my cab is ready.
I got 2 clips. Then I got 2 clips. We can wrap it up. First of all, we want to keep us up to date. The suicide bombers in Pakistan and Syria update. We need to keep this in our
arsenal.
Rotation.
More than 200 people died after suicide bombers attacked an open-air market and other targets in southern Syria Wednesday. Dozens more were injured in a total of 4 attacks in the city of Sueda. The Syrian government is blaming ISIS for the bombings. Syrian forces are currently fighting ISIS militants near Israel's Golan Heights and the Jordanian border. The suicide bomber killed 31 people outside a polling station in Pakistan Wednesday during the country's general election. A witness says a motorcycle drove into a crowd of people just before the explosion. There were more deadly bombings in the run-up to Wednesday's vote. 149 people were killed at a campaign rally earlier this month. Election results are expected Thursday.
Yeah, the new guy won.
Yeah. What was he before? Is a DJ or
I don't know. I didn't know
jerk,
that.
Something like that.
I have no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Some very weird position before he was a politician. And I got I can hold the rest of these. I do have one more if you want to end with something kind of head scratching.
Sure.
So there's a big auction coming up in Texas, as a matter of fact, of some very fabulous action figures. From Star Trek.
The catalog is made up of 33 pieces, including rare figures of Luke, Leia, and Han, many in mint and near-mint condition. The collection's being sold by an anonymous owner from Dubai. That includes rarities from the late 70s and early 80s. Heritage Auctions says these first-shot prototypes are glued and painted by hand, making them the most valuable figures you could ever own. Well, it's certainly not the only time the first shot mattered to Star Wars fans. One of the most highly anticipated figures is a super rare one of Bib Fortuna, Jabba's Chief of Staff. Since it's only one of 5 of its kind known to exist, it's expected to go for about $30,000. There's also a Darth Vader figure with an early double telescoping lightsaber from '77, as well as a hand-painted Obi-Wan prototype from the same year. each with an estimated sale price of $25,000. Heritage Auctions in Dallas expects it to fetch £280,000, or about $365,000 at auction.
Good. We need the Curry Dvorak action figures. They'll be a great investment for the future.
I think so.
Along with your Beanie Babies. All right, everybody. It is a show day. Eyes peeled, ears open. You never know what will happen on these days, and we will report diligently on it on Sunday. Sorry?
Something.
There's always something going on. We return Sunday with more deconstruction for you so you can stay sane amongst all the lunacy that we're surrounded by.
Ow.
It's better that way. You okay?
Yeah, I just bumped my
head. Hit your head again? Yeah. And I am coming to you from downtown Austin, Texas. It is still the capital of the Drone Star State, FEMA Region number 6 on all the governmental maps in the 5x9 Cludio and the common law condo. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here on No Agenda. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos!
Donate to a No Agenda. They give us shows week after week. Donate to a No Agenda. It's a show that's really unique. Donate to a No Agenda. Listen to John and Adam speak. Donate to a No Agenda. Science is turning into a clique.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. I never sucked any ding-dongs. Sucking a ding-dong. Sucking a ding-dong. I never sucked any ding-dongs. Sucked a ding-dong. I never sucked any ding-dongs. There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. I never sucked any ding-dongs. But I'll tell you, if they were going to blackmail me to start World War III about one, I'd say, hey, I sucked a golf ball through a freaking garden hose. Sucking a ding-dong. I never sucked any ding-dongs.
That crazy.
I mean, he's stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con. A bullshit artist. A mutt. Who doesn't know what he's talking about. Pig, punk, con, stupid. He's a punk, a mutt. A mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
One burger. Right here.